fuck up.
Wait, the thumbs up was to be ready? I'm not.
Oh my god.
Don't, Aaron.
That meant that we
everybody.
weren't ready.
How's that? I can't see anything.
What a great start to a stream, everybody, because we're live, so all these people messing around are just having a great time. Oh, wow. Luckily, we have 0 viewers at the moment, so nobody's seen any of this.
Noah and I have already secured ourselves not being re-invited.
Such a great way to introduce all of our like new guests. We're like, hey, just messing around for the first 45 seconds. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Show is a Mimic, Ruins of the Runa'tak edition. Woo woo, what's up? Hi, so this is a break from our normal campaign run by Birdie the Bard, our Sorodin campaign. We're still going to be in the world of Sorodin, but today we're starting hopefully a 2-shot with our normal cast of characters and 2 special guests. And we're going to go ahead and have everybody introduce ourselves. So let's go ahead and start us off Discord order. Let's do this.
Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Kenna. It is Miss Saoirse on TikTok, and today I will be playing Irzu Dorith, the Pallid Elf Rogue.
We've actually swapped Discord order, Kenna. You were actually second, so you skipped me.
Oh, that's
fine.
cool. My bad.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm not angry.
Ben, launch into it.
Fine. Hello. Hello, everyone. I am Ben, aka Ben does D&D on TikTok and all other places and things. You can find me. I am going to be playing Renee, the wood elf druid. My first time playing a druid. So yeah, I'm super psyched for it. It's super exciting. I have also noticed that it does say right here that my name is Kenna. That is incorrect. I am not Kenna. Kenna's
Oh yes,
that one
Mr. Stream Master, may you fix our overlay, please?
I don't know. You look a lot like Kenna, like the similarities.
I think you would make a much better Kenna.
Irzu
You
Dorith
may
is actually going to be a tag
disagree,
team play
but-
by both Kenna and Kenna. They'll be trading off.
All right. I have 2 Kennas.
Next person up.
Hello. Right, I'm bald now. I had to get it out of the way. I got a haircut. Yeah. Okay, so my name's Hex. You can find me on the Nat 20 Show. I run the Nat 20 Show account on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Anywhere there's accounts, I'll be there. Today I'm playing Magnus Halfhand. He is a human wizard, and he is. We'll find out. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Thank you for now. Goodbye.
Mr. Saito. Next person up. Lucas, let's go.
My name is Lucas. I am Lucas is Stressed on TikTok, as long as that app still exists. And I am playing Grahil, the Goliath Paladin.
No, you're up.
Thank you.
Wait, I apologize. I'm going to explain this to the audience. Lucas was a little late showing up for rehearsal, so he missed all of our announcements, including the fact that we weren't going to reference the TikTok news that was going
Whoops.
on.
My bad.
No, it's much funniher now. This is great. Yeah, let's hope our platform doesn't drop out from under us. Yay! All right, Noah, you're up.
Hello, I'm Noah, Nova Killing on TikTok, and also a big member of the Welcome In live stream on Twitch. If you guys want to go check that out, it's very fun. And I am playing Mazlong, a Goliath cleric.
Yeah, so those are our 2 wonderful guests that we have going on today. We have these guys who I got to agree to come be with us, and they're good friends, and we love them very much.
Gang.
Yeah, and they'll be joining us for the run of this 2-shot, and hopefully more again in the future at some point. I don't think we have any announcements this week, but Mr. Benethan, directly below me, did want to talk about something special he's holding on to at this exact moment.
Yes.
You want to show it off to the audience, Ben?
Something very special that will be coming very soon. This is a teaser for something that will be coming very, very soon. The dice I'm going to be using today are a certain color that you guys may recognize. Look at these beautiful dice. These are very nice. These are a little something that's going to be coming very, very soon, hopefully. But these are the prototype of something very, very cool that will be coming very, very soon. If you want to know more about that, make sure you head over to Etsy, Sunflower Designs GB, and we'll be talking about more about that very, very soon, hopefully. But just a little teaser for you, and I'll be using these today. Test driving them.
Hey, nat 20s all round.
Only nat 20.
Let's see, shall we?
No, oh, you're gonna curse us.
Well,
What was
I won't
that?
tell you what that was. Oh, actually, no, that was really good. That was 17.
Hey.
Okay.
17.
Mr. Stream Master, by the way, this week we've got a special Stream Master who's running our stream for us. Mr. Stream Master, it's come to my attention that our stream still has announcement at the front of it. If you could totally remove that, that'd be awesome. Appreciate it, my guy.
Lovely jubbly.
Okay, so I don't think we've got anything else to talk about, so we should just jump into this, right? Does that sound like fun?
God damn.
Right.
I'm excited.
So, let's get into this then. Now, our group of intrepid heroes for this week, we have Irzu, Magnus, Renee, Maslong, and Grahil. All 5 of these, including one other member of their party, a Tabaxi Ranger. I don't know why I said Ranger. A Tabaxi character of dark fur. The 6 of them sit in the back of a covered wagon, being led down a long, bumpy road. The air is humid and hot, and you'll see in the out the back of the wagon, the large opening that leads out into open sky. You see jungle moving behind you. You are currently have been hired on an expedition leading into the lands of Runa'tak, a recently, within the last few decades, annexed portion of the Kingdom of Valtaika, or the Magearchy of Valtaika, excuse me. And you've been hired by several research mages from the Magus Akatem, the Valtaikan School of Magic, to investigate some runes, a city that's been discovered recently in the Runa'tak jungle. As the 6 of you sit in your different positions among boxes of food and clothing, having actually gotten decent treatment on this travel, you're not like several of your other mercenaries that have been hired for this. As you can see out the back, multiple people walking alongside the wagons. At the front of your wagon is a coach driver who had been hired to drive this. I'm sorry, something on the stream just distracted me. I saw the words Dungeon Master appear in large letters and I was confused.
Whoa.
Who had been hired to drive this cart for you. There also sits in the passenger seat a blonde-haired woman of very thin proportion, wearing a purple dress with gold lining, who is sat back, very comfortably lounging in the front of the cart, looking through what looks like a set of research notes. This is the woman who has hired you, a young girl of 16, a Reyna Vakian, who is very comfortably lounging in the front of the cart. And if you'd like, the 6 of you are sitting in a cart. You know you were supposed to arrive relatively close to the ruins today. Is there anything you'd like to do while you are in the cart?
You threw me off there, Aaron. God damn it. God damn it. It's like 5 minutes in, you've already thrown me off. I guess Renee's quite small, so she's probably just like sat in the back, just like swinging her feet back and forth, just looking around at everything, just swinging her feet, just sat, just occasionally just looking at her companions around her.
You know what? For the audience, why don't you physically describe Renee real quick while she's sitting, swinging?
Renee is like I said before, she is a wood elf with like mint green hair, like long mint green hair, which matches almost like perfectly matches her eye color. Just like this really like nice mint green color. She's got quite pale skin. She's about 5'2", so she's really small, and she wears this a very loose white dress that comes down to kind of like ankle level. And she's completely barefoot, just nothing on her feet.
Right. You know what? Let's go ahead and just go through actually in Discord order again. Irzu, would you like to describe yourself as you pick whatever position you're in while you are sitting in the cart?
Sure. So you see Irzu probably sitting with his legs out the back of the cart. He has incredibly pale skin, almost looks sickly, but except for just like a small amount of blush you can see in his face. He has like snow white hair cropped very short and curly, and he has white eyes. And he is sitting there with one leg cocked up, armrest, the other leg dangling out of the cart, staring at a pocket watch that is incredibly intricate and has lots of gears and copper pieces in it.
Very nice. Magnus, go ahead and describe what your character looks like and what they're doing as they sit within this cart.
Absolutely. Okay, so Magnus himself would quite be well formally dressed, I'd say, in some sort of three-piece uniform-esque attire, somewhat. It is white and gold of color, but is very very well pressed. It's all not a speck on it. Um, he is quite young of age, about 16, 17. So, in terms of his actual build, he is quite frail, quite small. He has kind of like this almost pompous look to him. His nose is kind of wrinkled even at his young age of just kind of turning his nose up at things. He's still kind of going through that puberty age of discovering himself and finding that position. What does strike you immediately is that there is like fresh linen, almost like bandage type material wrapped around his face and around his eyes. Those of you who do know him would be aware that he has lost his sight.
Okay.
And he's currently reading, but not actually currently reading because his spell book is made out of braille. So he's going to just be like running his hands along the pages of his spell book.
Nice. How about Grahil? Why don't you describe what you are doing how you look and what you're doing while you're in this cart?
Yeah. Okay. So Grahil is obviously he's a Goliath that very very much looks like a textbook Goliath. He's wearing this chainmail that is super shiny, looks like it's never been in a fight, like it's not scratched up or anything. And he's got this huge greatsword kind of laying across his lap. It's in its scabbard, but it's he's not like just leaving it unattended. He's got it kind of laying across his lap while he kind of sits on. When you say covered wagon, I'm imagining there's little benches in the back, so I'm sitting like on one of the benches, kind of with probably his like head back and his eyes closed, just kind of relaxing and listening to the just kind of any conversation that might be happening. I don't imagine he's doing much other than that.
Okay, and then last but not least, Maslong. Describe yourself and your actions in the cart.
So Maslong, another Goliath, very textbook looking, the natural tribal markings along his arms and body. He has this nice, freshly looking leather armor. You can still even smell that the freshness of it, as if it just came out of the.
It's a good smell.
With some fur cloth going around it, covering certain parts just for extra warmth or protection. Some of it being natural for pouches and such. He's got this nice long wooden mace and he's just sitting there. He's got his hands folded on his lap, and from what you can see, he might be holding something. He's just kind of moving something around inside of his hands, and he's just kind of looking down.
Right. And then the last member of your party, the Tabaxi woman with her dark fur, the darkest cave behind the palm, but you have come to know her over the last few days of travel as Dark Palm. She sits as she has for the entirety of this trip, where while the two of you, Irzu and Renee, sit upon the edge of the wagon with your legs hanging off, she is sat behind you, never seeming relaxed. She is tensed, with her hand always either upon one of the arrows on her quiver or the dagger on her side, and she is constantly keeping watch out into the jungle. Now, as the six of you sit in this covered wagon, Irzu and Renee, you two would be the first to see that as you're looking out the back of this wagon. The path behind you, as you've been kind of traveling, you know that there were early scouts sent to clear the way for all of the wagons before this expedition could take place. So you see freshly cut vines moved off to the side as the covered wagons move over the mud and the roots, having a very hard time. The ride has been very bumpy. But you realize that suddenly the trees stop and move and are no longer in the edges of your vision. You see open sky, and you stick your head out the side, and you can see you've now entered a massive clearing. There is no jungle around you. You can see bits of buildings, smaller stone houses that are made of wedged together rocks, probably 10-foot high ceilings, and with angled roofs. However, where there would be a roof, there is just open sky. It looks like probably desiccated or rotted away leaves or wood was used to be there. And suddenly, your cart begins to turn one direction, down a path where you cannot see where you're going. But all of the other carts behind you continue on to the right while you continue to the left.
Do we all notice this, or is this just...
These would be these two at first, but after a moment, if anyone had their eyes open or was looking around, would notice this. It's not something hard to notice.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Sorry. I thought you were still going.
Oh no, go for it.
As
I've got a little
Renee
bit of,
sees that, she's gonna kind
technical-
of. Oh.
Here,
Sorry.
we'll have Ben then Hex. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah. Renee's gonna kind of see this and kind of like tilt her head a little bit and look to Isu and be like, "Is this supposed to be happening? Are they supposed to be? Are we going the right way?" Oh.
Oh, we lost X.
We've lost a Hex. Uh-oh. He did mention something technical.
Yeah, he was saying something was going on.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, we're about to have him back. There he is. Well, all right. It just messed with our voice. Oh, we've got a Hex on a phone. Sounds like a plan.
There we go. It might have to be like this, guys.
What happened?
What happened?
My computer's just stopped charging. It's not charging at all. I think there's something wrong with the charger.
Okay. Well, if it's okay
no.
for you to play like this, that's totally chill. We got this.
Sorry.
While you're figuring that out, we're gonna continue with the scene. I apologize. I didn't realize it was something technical that you were talking about with your announcement. I'm sorry. Okay. So, Irzu, Renee has just asked you this question.
As you say that, Renee, Irzu is going to softly shut the pocket watch and tuck it into his top pocket on the inside by his breast. And he's going to just kind of shrug and be like, I guess. And then he's going to look to Reyna and he's going to say, Reyna?
And you see, she doesn't even look from her book. She is lounged back in her seat up at the front of the cart. And you actually notice, for probably the first time on this long journey, that while the cart is shaking and bumping and moving, Reyna's seat, for some reason, seems to be completely still and comfortable. And as she's laying there, reading through her book, she flips a page, and you just hear, "Idiots. They think that going where the biggest buildings are is what will find them the most extravagant research. And she's just gonna sit there and continue to look through her book.
Okay.
And as she says that, the two of you who are looking out the back, now that your trail has made a complete 90-degree turn and you can see directly towards where the other covered wagons are going, you see that those small buildings, there's probably 20, 30 of them at this point in front of where the wagons are heading. Behind them, you see a large stone structure, 15-foot cubes of limestone and granite stacked on each other in a massive rectangular pyramid, like a staggered pyramid size, that stands probably 120 feet tall. It is a beacon outside of the 20-foot tall jungle trees around it. It is huge. And you see all the other wagons. People have already stopped and are beginning to hop out of their wagons, pulling out supplies, ropes, moving boxes, getting tents set up. Already, the groundwork is being laid for a research camp at this larger structure. Whereas your wagon at this point has re-entered the trees. You are back in the jungle. You can see the large structure still, but it is distant, and you are moving away from it.
Seems like a pretty safe bet to me. Where are we going?
We're going somewhere I think we're going to find much more interesting research. The scouts for this location had already found something that I think piqued my interest a bit, and I think I'll get better research here. We should be making camp in... She checks a small, what looks like just piece of onyx, circular onyx that's been cut and attached with a leather band to her wrist that has two golden pins that move independently of each other. We should be making camp in 15 minutes. Prepare your things.
Incredibly ominous, but all right. And he's gonna strap the great sword onto his back and make sure it's ready for combat.
Combat.
And if the path here getting to the large clearing where all the vegetation had been cleared away to reveal the stone buildings and the larger stone structure was bumpy, this is doubly so. The path that has been cut for this small offshoot of this research expedition is so much... there was a lot less work put into this. And as the cart begins to bump and move, you see the cart driver kind of just curse and throw down his reins. I apologize, Miss Vakian, but we can't go any farther. You'll have to continue on foot. Unfortunate, but not unexpected. And she gets up off of her chair and hops off the side of the wagon. Come, I'm not paying you to sit around.
Irzu shoulders his backpack and hops off the cart and is right in step with Reyna.
Anybody else?
Grahil will go ahead and get off the. Grahil will go ahead and get off the cart as well.
Okay. Renee.
Yeah, Renee is going to kind of, hop down, completely, unfazed. While some of the others may seem a little uneasy by this, she's completely unfazed and is just...
She's got kind of a hop and skip to her step.
Yes, absolutely.
She's just
does.
moving, just hanging out in the jungle.
She not even that. As she's hopping, skipping, she's spinning around as well. She's completely unfazed. She's having a great time. She's just completely unfazed.
Mazlong, are you doing anything at this time?
Mazlong's going to be stepping out of the wagon at this part, just carefully though, as not to step into a big pile of mud.
That's actually a good thing to keep an eye out, because as you all kind of hop off the cart, immediately your boots sink about 2 inches into the ground, as you are already feeling that where there is not solid vegetation under your foot, it is just a thick, forever wet mud that is difficult to walk through. It is very gross feeling for a lot of you. Renee, the mud in your toes actually feels quite nice.
Nature.
And as you kind of take stock of where you're at, you look around and you can see this trail that you've cut through the last like 15 feet of vegetation, as this is about where the end of the road was cut by the scouts of this expedition. And around you is thick, dense jungle. You can't see farther into the jungle than maybe 15, 20 feet. It is heavily obscured beyond that point by vines and trees, and you hear so much noise. You'd expect a jungle to be quiet, but there is the buzzing of insects. You can hear chirping of birds, a clicking noise of some beast off in the distance, of a slight call. And you see, as everyone's hopped off the cart, Reyna has kind of hopped off and already begun to pull a set of poles off of the side of the cart. Well, the camp's not going to set up itself.
Oh,
Irzu will be able to help her.
Yeah. So given about 15, 20 minutes, all of you working together, you can easily take all these different poles and lift up a giant white canvas tent, probably 20 by 15 feet, where there is there's a collapsible table that's set up. There is a chest full of books that was brought along that Reyna makes sure is raised up off the ground and is set off to the side. Now, I can continue to set up camp with our coach driver. However, the temple that we discussed about is 20 yards that way. You'll be able to find it once you get through the jungle. Now remember, take your papers and your rubbing cart charcoal with you. I want every bit of information you can find. Anything at all. Bring me back any relics you see, the remains of any monsters that might be in this temple. Bring back charcoal rubbings of any etchings. I want everything out of this temple. Now, to remind all of you, I discussed this in the previous notes on the campaign, but this specific expedition had been described to you as you five were meant to enter an ancient building, a temple, belonging to a fallen version of the Runa'tak culture, who used to be a great empire. It's something most people who have been to this area know about, but not a lot of people have the built-in knowledge of things that have happened. One member of your party has a decent or two members of your party have decent background knowledge of this, which you would have already been made familiar about. Both Magnus and the sixth member of your party, who at this point has helped with the building but has not said a word, Darkpalm, both have decent knowledge of this the surrounding area and the culture that goes along with it. So if you'd like to continue on, we can set things up. And if I do not see you again till tomorrow, have a good night. But from here, you're on your own.
I hope you have a wonderful night as well. She skips off.
Grahil will kind of just go, finally, some action, and start to follow off in that same direction.
Mazlong will reluctantly sigh and go, all right, here we go. Just follow after Grahil.
Irzu is going to stick really close to Darkpalm, and he's going to follow her lead on whatever she does. And I'm going to be right back. But continue on.
Sounds like a plan. Darkpalm is going to take out her bow and have one arrow notched as she's walking, just in case. And the six of you are able to, after a moment of looking around, you see that there has been a small trail that has been trodden within the last few weeks. There is broken vegetation. Someone has cleaved off branches in the way. And about 20 yards, exactly as Reyna said, you see this long stone building. It looks different than the buildings that you passed by on the way here. Whereas the small residential buildings that you had passed were these larger stones that had been pushed together and brought together with some amount of mortar, pushed into these they were not small, but they were humble dwellings. And then there was the one larger structure that was cut giant blocks of granite and limestone. This one is also blocks of limestone, but they're not square. They're long and rectangular, and they fit together so perfectly that even if you were to walk up to it, you don't think you could slide a knife blade between the two stones. And these stones look a lot more older and weathered than the larger structure. You get the impression just walking up that this building is older than the one that you saw on your way coming in. And it's there in front of you. If any of you would like to walk up and try and learn anything about the building, you may. Do whatever you'd like.
Does anyone want to do anything? I'll get started.
Yuzu
Sure.
is gonna go. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna do now. Someone else go. Sorry.
Irzu is gonna walk up to the building and he's going to look for any hidden anything that looks like it could be writing, anything that looks like it could be like hidden, and he's just gonna sort of feel around the walls.
Okay, so you all watch as this pallid elf walks up to the building and begins to kind of inspect it. Will you please make me an investigation check on the building?
Yeah,
Ooh.
First roll of the session. Don't mess it up.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Hang on, wait. Doo. Okay. Investigation is 17.
17, that's pretty decent. So as you all walk up, as you are all walking to the building, Irzu breaks off in front and begins to approach the building. And you see him kind of lean down and look. And the first thing you notice, Irzu, is that this large stone building, there is no door. It is a solid wall that is sticking up out of the ground. And as you kind of look around the edges, it's about 20 feet wide and about 15 feet tall. And the back end of it seems to be built directly into a hill where it is covered with vegetation and dirt. And you begin to inspect the walls looking for writing or intricate carvings. And as your hand runs over the stone, you see the blocks are made of limestone and granite. But near the front of it, there is one limestone block that at first you think might be some sort of carving, a language of some kind. You're not familiar with the language of these natives or the culture that they had. But then as you run your fingers over it, you feel a slight gap of air. And you realize that this block is not a singular block. It is stacked smaller bricks that are meant to resemble one block. And it's very heavily wedged. Like you push your hands on it for just a second, and it doesn't show any amount of give or budge. But that's something that you notice. Is anything else wanting to do anything while Irzu is investigating the front of the building?
Was there like an obvious entrance that we saw?
There, as far as you've seen, there is no obvious entrance. You see that this, obviously, the way that there is stone steps built leading up to the front of the door, just you can barely make that out underneath the dirt and vegetation. But this very obviously looks like the front of a building, but there is no door. The only kind of thing that you see is Irzu kind of leaning down, looking at one of the limestone bricks. But you're free to check. You've not looked around. You've not tried to climb around the hill because you know that it's built into this side of the hill that you can see. So the ceiling is also exposed, or the roof is also exposed, but no one's tried climbing that hill yet.
I think I'm going to make a little check-a-rooney and look around for any maybe worn spots in the vegetation, maybe spots that haven't grown as thick as others from time, like maybe being beaten down.
Okay.
Or even wear and tear on the stones itself from heavy traffic in that direction. Maybe
make your choice of a survival, nature, or investigation check. Your choice.
Alrighty. I'm definitely gonna do survival. That's a 14.
14. Okay, you look around and you don't see anything that would have necessarily been caused or worn differently than anything else around. You look around and you can see where the scouts who discovered this building stayed. There are very obvious markings on the vegetation where tents were pitched or there was footprints. And for a second, you spot a set of fresh footprints in the mud that you're confused about. And you look around quickly and you realize that it's not actually anyone unknown, because you see sitting up perched in a tree is Dark Palm. She has climbed one of the trees near the building and is keeping a lookout. She has her bow and arrow notched and is looking around. But you hadn't noticed her break off from the party. She's just been very quiet and not spoken yet.
Okay.
Would I have noticed with a passive perception of 17?
Yes.
Yeah.
Renee's just gonna be looking around and is just gonna out of the corner of her eye just watch her just go off and climb this tree. Just gonna give her a wave.
So when you see her walk up to the tree, she just for a moment puts her bow, the string across her chest, and just quick as a cat, claws into the side of the tree and just pounces up the side, maybe taking 2 or 3 lunges.
That's so cool.
Grahil, you had something?
Can they give her a wave?
Yeah, Grahil is gonna like, cause I was actually sitting and thinking like, man, I think he wants to interact with Dark Palm in this moment, so he's gonna turn around and look around and be like, you know, Dark Palm, you don't always have to be so What? Wait, what? Anybody seen Dark Palm? Anybody seen Dark Palm?
Make a perception check.
Renee's just gonna point.
Yeah, so make it with advantage because Renee is pointing at where Dark Palm is.
Well, my first
God.
roll of the advantage was a nat 20.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, as soon as you're like,
He's
wow,
gonna-
Dark Palm, you see her look at you with an eyebrow raised, and then just reference the fact that she's in a tree by waving both her hands as if to say, fucking dumbass, I'm right here. She doesn't say it, she just gives you the look.
Yeah. You go, well, I was gonna say you don't need to be so on edge all the time, but you got that covered. He will just kind of walk up to the door and he'll be like, how is people supposed to, or not to the door, but to the spot where there should be a door. And he'll go, how are people supposed to get in without a door? And just start pushing on the rocks.
Uh-oh.
Okay. You don't accidentally stumble into the spot that Irzu was kind of investigating. Oh, but yes, Irzu, you'd be completed with your investigation if you'd like to make your party aware of anything that you found.
Yes, Irzu's gonna kind of stand up and realize how incredibly close he is to Grahil and take a single step back. And he's gonna be like, so that I found this, and he's gonna reference the thing, and he's gonna you said it was like smaller bricks
Yes,
that
so
were made to look like one?
These the bricks that this building is made out of are stacked rectangular bricks in different formations, made of different slabs of limestone and granite. And this particular one is about 7 foot tall, 4 foot wide brick that looks like just a singular slab, but because of the vines and everything growing across it. But as you kind of touch it, you realize it's probably 12-inch by 6-inch bricks that have all been stacked to look like a singular slab.
Oh. Yeah, I look at Grahil and I say that. And I say, you wanna give it a good old heave ho?
Looking at those, the first thing I kind of want to do, do I also notice that they're stacked the way they are, and they're
Well,
like
now that Irzu has pointed it out, you can now you didn't catch it at first, but as you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, there's some this is not one thing, this is many things.
I'd like to try to push in one of the small bricks that I could see.
What, like a Jenga game, like just with one finger?
Yeah.
Make a strength check at disadvantage
All right.
with the one finger.
One finger poke.
Oh man, that would have been a nat 20, but instead it's a 5 plus
So it's a 5.
10.
Okay, so it's a 10. As you kind of like push, the brick budges maybe half a centimeter, and you see like dirt fall out from along the edges, but it doesn't budge. You figure a solid hit will probably knock this wall in.
All right. I'd like to give it a solid hit with my sword.
Can I
Like
walk up
everybody
to this
step
point?
back.
Yeah. So as Maslong, you're standing there and you see your brother kind of like hunched over, looking at a wall, poking it for half a second, and he's just kind of pressing it, and you see this shower of dirt go down as part of the wall shifts in, and you also realize what's going on with this slab.
Is there room for both of us to swing at the same time?
If you were to walk up, yeah, there'd be room for one of you to be on either side of it and just go at it.
I walk up. You need some help, and I grab my mace.
Let's do it. On 3. Everybody back up. Everybody back up.
Holding it like a freaking slugger. Just
Yeah. And then on the count of 3, we swing. I go 1.
All right, what's your guys'
2.
strength scores?
20.
The score, not the modifier. Okay, so 20 and
17.
17. So it only needed a combined strength of 18 to bust the wall in. So as the two of you swing, you go at the same time, and Irzu, you're still pretty close. It is the loudest cracking noise you have ever heard. As just the wall implodes inward, shards of brick just go flying in different directions as it bounces off. You hear a clattering as you look in, and the stone wall that is kind of collapsed in at this point, bits of it have scattered down a set of stone stairs that lead downward into darkness.
That wasn't
You
very
have
graceful.
you have superior
Brittany's
dark
gonna say
vision,
a
correct?
completely straight face, like not even sarcastic at all. She's just saying it, still smiling.
Irzu, you have superior dark vision, right? 60 feet?
Yes. As you turn and look, Irzu has both of his arms across his chest where his pocket watch is in his pocket. And then, like, after the ruckus calms down, he puts both of his arms back down to his side.
Okay. And I forget,
Right,
Maslon Grahil, do Goliaths have dark vision?
No.
No. So the two of you look in, and you can see maybe 5 feet in, 10 feet in, a set of stone staircase, like a stone staircase that the bricks have all fallen on and are going down. Irzu, as you look in, you see that the stone staircase just goes down at a 45-degree angle for like 20 feet. It just goes into darkness, and at the edge of your vision, you see it flattens out into a floor, but you can't see past that. And as you kind of like look around the inside real quick, there is no other place. The entrance to this building is just a staircase downward.
Irzu you're just gonna see him he's gonna unsheath a dagger from his belt, and he's gonna touch the tip, and it's just gonna glow like a blue light.
Shiny.
And he's gonna look towards the rest of the party, and he's gonna say, "Shall we?"
All right.
Let's do it. Hey, nobody tell Reyna we did that, please. I don't think she'd be super happy.
I'm sure she probably heard. It was very loud.
We'll say
1 second.
it was a trap.
1 second.
Oh my god!
Irzu, you hear in the back of your mind, you hear a voice go, "Did I just hear a fucking explosion in my runes?"
Is she a fucking mind flare?
Irzu is just gonna think, like, his mind is just gonna immediately just gears and turning clock pieces. That's all he's thinking about.
Okay. You're familiar with this. She's used this to communicate with you before. This is the message cantrip.
Yep.
Or the message, yeah.
Yeah, nope.
So he does not respond?
In his mind, he's gonna say, "Nope."
25 words and you say
He's
one.
not wrong. There wasn't an explosion.
He's not wrong.
And he's going to start to go down the stairs with his light dagger and like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you pull the light. Magnus, I'm assuming you've been with the group up to this point?
I'll say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking sorry, Soren. My laptop is completely gone. I'm gonna have to play off my phone. That's why I've just been swapping things around.
Totally
That's all right.
fine. Totally fine.
But
So
if Kian's currently watching, then Kian said he's gonna come drop me a charger. So cheers, mate.
so it's about a 15-foot wide staircase as you begin to descend. I'm assuming the rest of you follow suit.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Renee,
you're gonna
Renee will follow next.
okay.
Next to Isu.
So all of you begin to pile in. Dark Palm kind of hops down from the tree, and as she walks past Grashill, that was fucking loud. And she's just gonna walk down the staircase. So she's gonna be like in the middle of the group with you guys. As you begin to walk down, the only light being the blue light coming off of the pommel of Irzu's dagger. This eerie blue glow illuminates the staircase, which is cold and damp and moist, and you hear the dripping of water, condensation coming down. You see streaks of water down the sides of the cave. Roots of trees have moved their way between the stones, pushing them apart, cracking them in places. And you begin to walk, being very careful to not slip on the very slick vegetation and smooth stone that went into the stairs. And as you reach the bottom of the stairs, you are immediately taken aback at how large of a room you've just entered. Because as you stand there, you see that there are broken bits of stone blocking off the staircase immediately off the sides. And if you take a second to look around, these look like giant stone pillars that have been knocked over and are no longer supporting the roof, which you look up and you see is 30 feet above you. The edges of your globe barely touch the top of this roof. These stone pillars are stacked and broken at 15 feet tall. You cannot see behind them, but they are broken and blocking off immediately to your right and left. But you see ahead of you, probably 30 feet, there is an area where the pillars clear, and you can see that there are more pillars that have broken and fallen. And there is a cross intersection ahead of you, probably 30 feet. But these pillars, Irzu specifically called out you're looking for intricate pattern work.
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of like are walking by, go ahead and roll me an investigation check. Actually, if any of you would like to, if you think your character would be keeping an eye out at these ruins, specifically with the task that you're in, each of you could independently make me an investigation check.
I'm gonna
Magnus
be more
would be
on
specific
guard,
with walking
like
up
alert.
to walls.
Okay. So
all right. First
Magnus
roll,
picks his
dice.
hands on the walls.
Yeah.
It seems like Dark Palm and Moslong are both still at the ready, looking around, keeping an eye out for things, not particularly keeping eye on the research part of this expedition.
Investigation.
Yes, investigation.
17.
17. Okay, for Renee. What was the rolls for Irzu and Magnus?
21.
21 for Magnus. Irzu?
Plus 7 investigation.
11.
11. So Irzu, the first thing you spot, because you were kind of leading this charge, is that on the pillars there are broken bits of stone that at one point looked like they had very beautiful carvings on them. Probably half an inch deep into the stone. And they look like they might have depicted some sort of scenery. It doesn't look like written language. And Magnus, you would be aware that the culture that used to inhabit these ruins, they didn't have a written language. Their language took the form of kipu in braided bits of rope that would be able to tell them how they kept their record keeping, which is one of the reasons why runes like this are so valuable, because there is no written record left over from that culture. So Renee and Magnus, as you two begin to kind of look about, Magnus keeping his hand along the wall, trying to find any particular etching, you both stop at the same point, maybe 10 feet down one pillar. Irzu is on the opposite side inspecting, trying to find some scene, but he cannot. Whereas Renee, you see this scene in front of you, and Magnus, your fingers trace over it at the same time. Let me pull up my notes. You see a scene of a tabaxi or of a Runa'tak man, of a feline humanoid, standing in a field. In one hand, he has a gardening hoe, and in the other hand, he has a sickle. And Renee, that's all you see on this carving. He stands there, looking as though he is a farmer working in his field. Magnus, you notice something about this carving because of how high you've rolled. As you kind of take your hands, you're not relying on the visual element of this carving.
Yeah.
You feel little divots as you run your hands along the two farming instruments he's holding. And you feel carved into the haft of the hoe and the blade of the sickle very thin eyes, angular and staring and watching.
They feel like. Do they feel live?
They don't feel alive. This is an old carving. It feels like it was purposefully faint. It was something that someone put there to be subtle but noticeable for anyone who was looking for it.
Just make note of this. There's something quite peculiar regarding these farm hands. I think it's not quite right.
It's a very interesting carving.
Yeah. And at this point, the rest of you, now that the other two have found it, you would be able to see this carving.
Is there any way that we can possibly excavate it without damaging the properties of it themselves? I'm not looking at you, to the two gentlemen who made our entrance.
That's quite rude.
I'm sure
Actually,
you would destroy them if you tried.
Understandable, but rude.
The Goliath brothers, you two go ahead and make me a perception check while the rest of them are looking at this carving.
Please do not break it. Gently.
Because you said you were keeping an eye out for other things.
That's an 11.
Okay.
Hey.
Maslon, what'd you roll?
I rolled in, like, the dice was 11. My modifier, I'm trying to find it. Perception?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
holy crap. That's a 15.
15?
Yeah.
Roll something.
I also rolled an 11, but my modifier is +0.
Maslon, as the other three begin to kind of look at this carving, and you see even Darkpalm is taken aback, and she kind of takes her hand and traces it around the face of the farmer. And your brother is looking off in one direction, trying to kind of see into the dark. You see him do that thing where people are squinting their eyes in the darkness trying to see. But your attention for half a second pulls away from the darkness in front of you, and you look up, and you just see 2 small, 3, 4 little rocks tumble down the side of one of the pillars.
I call over to Urzu. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay, I look over to Urzu. Can you shine a light up there? And I point towards where the rocks are tumbling down. I saw some movement, I think, so I just want to check.
Sure. And Irzu kind of takes aim with his hand, and with the light still in the dagger, he chucks it up towards where the pillar was.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Okay.
Just no. It's just to see how this turns out.
Attack the rock.
Attack the rock!
Rock lobster.
I smash.
With
There's an ancient black dragon hidden right up there.
Don't do that.
We've already started
Lucas.
the BBEG fight.
Lucas,
Okay,
I mean, don't call me out like that. Why'd you read my notes?
So I rolled a 12 and I have +5 to hit, so 17.
17. That's really good. So as you kind of like toss your dagger, it end over end, flink, sticks in the side of the rock and right up near the edge of the pillar. And as it hits the rock, you see that you don't see anything on top of the pillar, but you do immediately see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more little rocks come tumbling down as though something was moving on top of the pillar and is just out of sight. As if they were moving away from what just clunked next to them.
Can I make
How tall is the
perception
ceiling?
check?
Sure. At this point, if anyone would like, other than the Goliath brothers, you may make perception checks. The ceiling is 30 feet high. The pillars are 15 feet high.
Oh, I see.
Would I got pretty decent passive. I got 20 passive. That's
You got a 20 passive perception?
You got a 20 passive? How? I have
As a
17.
wizard?
Features.
That's impressive.
I think I have observed.
Yeah, because he took observant because he's a variant.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I have
Because
17
I'm
passives
blind.
though. I see a lot of things
Yeah.
passively as well. Okay, so
Oh.
my
Yeah, your passive
Alright.
wasn't quite high enough to see anything, Renee. But yeah, you can go ahead and make.
wait, what?
Make a
Oh
check.
yeah. My
Yeah.
perception. Maths is hard. But 16 plus 7.
Okay, so that's 23. So with the 20 passive, the 23. Urzu, are you going to try and see anything that's going on over there?
Yeah, and
Oh, I should
Urzu
also.
is gonna make the light shine as bright as it can.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna guess that's a bright light in a 20-foot radius.
Okay. So, yeah.
And,
okay.
And for perception, it's 18.
18. Okay.
The reason why I've said passive as well, sorry, Aaron, is just because I don't think Magnus would be specifically paying attention to.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
what's I'm still.
You're still on the thing, but it's something that you might
Yeah.
hear in the back of your head. Thank you for letting me know. That's very good to know. So actually, while you two are actively investigating where the light is being shined upon the pillar, because the angle at which you're looking up, it's almost impossible to see on top of the pillars. But you two look to the side, and you see for half a second a set of glowing, flickering green and red eyes appear over the edge of one of the pillars, and it disappears before you can get a good look at it. But Magnus, as your hands are still on the carving, and at this point you've taken out a piece of parchment and a piece of charcoal and have begun rubbing to get a proper cave rubbing of what's going on, your feeling of vibration and your ability to be observant kicks in for just a moment as under your fingers you feel movement across the top of your pillar, and you stop for just a second and you feel many somethings, you can't tell what they are, moving across the top of your pillar. They feel light, they feel not heavy, they feel maybe 15 to 20 pounds at max.
Oh, I get.
That's way more than I was thinking.
Gentlemen and ladies,
That's a
I
small
think
dog right there.
Or a big rat.
Or big.
Grahil definitely not seeing this and not being an observant person who's gonna walk up, throw an arm around his brother, and go, "You frightened the rocks, brother."
Oh my god.
Everyone in the cave who is observing these movements jumps as you hear "You afraid of rocks, brother?"
I like knock it, like as you do that, I like bring up my other hand, knocking the back of the head. No, we're looking for something up there. Are you not paying attention? I look back up weirdly again.
Having already failed my perception check for this, I just look up and I don't see
Actually,
Jack.
while I hit you in the back of the head, I'm casting guidance on you as I did just right in the back of the head. That gives you a 1d4 to any ability check before or after you roll.
Yeah, within the next minute, I believe. Correct?
Is it minute?
I believe so.
I thought it was just in general. Oh yeah, it is 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, 1 minute. Thank you.
I'm quite frankly curious. Out of the
Hex, you stopped rocking.
Which part packs the hardest punch? Oh,
of the two of you, he said, of the two of you, which of you packs the hardest punch? Yes, Hex, we can see you.
I'm just gonna push my brother towards you.
Yeah. I'll be like, that'll be me. I already had it out, but as I kind of like fully pick up my greatsword.
As I was just gonna say, as these two are kind of like having this debate as to trying to see what's up there and being like, well, I can't see. I'm just gonna be stood next to Izu, and I'm gonna kind of lean towards him and be like, slightly worried about these two. They seem, well, I don't want to seem rude, but they seem a little dim. Just gonna say that passively too.
You're doing
My
it.
favorite-
Just
My
like-
favorite part of that is that
quiet.
You're in a very
cave, a
quiet, echoey cave.
Yeah.
Everyone can
Yeah.
hear that sentence being said.
Yeah.
She also did not attempt to hide it.
Yes.
I look over and walk straight up to you, and just look down. I'm assuming.
I'm 5'2", so yes.
Right.
Yeah. I'd just like to
Pushing
say that
7
once
feet, right,
again,
Maslong?
I would just like to say, as this happens, she's saying it completely again, like not with any like malicious intent or anything, just completely completely
happy.
passively just saying it. Yeah.
As I walk up to you, I look down. I like crouch down so I'm actually eye level with you. I promise you, my brother and I can hold our own, and we'll help you too.
Oh, I wasn't questioning your strength. I'm sure you're very well. You are very strong. You smashed that wall quite well. I am
Well,
not
he gives like a
questioning the
warm
fact that you
smile
can
when I
hold
say that too. I wasn't saying it in any rude manner.
as you kind of smile back as she gives you a
Oh,
Lost
as
there he
she,
goes again.
means our overlay is disturbed. We have
As,
half of a Noah and no Lucas. Oh no,
When
Lucas
I
is
am
me
I am
now.
the dungeon
Lucas
master
runs the
now.
when you
All right, an ancient black dragon descends from the sky.
No.
No.
Lucas, should I just send you
Anyway.
all the campaign notes? I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah. Let's do it.
as you
Anyway,
as you
Renee.
kind of smile at her like that, she's gonna give an even wider smile back. She's gonna druid craft you a little flower and just pass it to you.
Maslong will just smile. I don't know if you can see it in the dark, but he slightly blushed and he takes it and he goes, "Thank you."
Yeah, it's hard to see because of your natural gray skin and the fact that you're in blue light. But Renee's got a decent passive.
Okay, so yeah, I just tuck it
okay.
in my my leather armor.
Yeah. So is anybody wanting to do anything else in this entryway before you start entering the maze of pillars?
Yeah.
Yeah. What,
Can I
what
make
do you
another
need, Magnus?
perception check now with the guidance?
Sorry, okay, let's back up real quick. Magnus, what did you say to me?
Sorry, I keep fucking bugging out because I'm on my phone, man. It's so frustrating. Yeah. So in terms of what was happening with the things that were falling from the sky, the rocks that were falling from the top.
The rocks
Did
were
we source
evidence
what that
of
was?
movement. You've not seen the creatures, but you know that there are creatures at the top of the pillars, small creatures.
Okay. And is there an exit to this room that we're in at the moment?
So currently you are in a giant room, and all you can see is that the pillars are broken and continue on for maybe another 30 feet, and at the end of that there is a four-way crossroad between other sets of broken pillars.
Okay. And it seems to be a similar height.
15 feet all the way across from what you can see.
Okay. Alright, I'll wait.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. So, yes, let's go. Is anybody wants to do anything? Just let me know for if they're gonna be, or are you guys gonna try and continue on?
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just continue on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Wait. I actually would like to, having been directed to look at the ceiling and been given guidance, make another perception check.
You can make one more at disadvantage because it's your second
right,
one,
fair.
but you still get your D4.
Oh, I don't imagine the D4 is gonna matter. Yep, that's a. Oh wait, why did I think? Oh, I see what happened. Okay, that's a 6 altogether.
Hey, you know what? Your brother made your head really hurt with that hit. Irzu, are you going to attempt to reclaim your dagger? It's still kind of stuck at the top of the pillar.
Did it seem like whatever was up there had moved away from the spot where I threw the dagger?
Yes, that's what the small rocks were leaving a trail away from it.
Okay, then yeah. In that case, if I could scramble up the pillar and kind of peek over the top.
You're gonna try and climb the side of the pillar?
Yeah, because I would like to try and grab my dagger, and I also want to try and get up to the top.
I'm gonna walk below the pillar just in case Urzu falls.
Okay, so actually, as you two begin to approach the pillar, you see that Dark Palm has already made her way to the front of the pillar and has her hands clasped like this, ready to give you a lift up. So
Brilliant.
if you would like to make an acrobatics check at advantage, because Dark Palm is assisting you.
Woo! Acrobatic. 18 plus 5 is 23.
23. Do you want to try and properly climb it or just grab your dagger? That's an important question.
I would like to try and properly climb it.
Okay. So, as you kind of run forward and take the 1 foot push up by Dark Palm, as you kind of get lifted up into the air, you get your hands along the edge of the pillar and begin to pull yourself up. And as you pull yourself, the light of your dagger still illuminates the top edge of this pillar. And your face peeks over the edge. And for the first second, there is a calm stillness as suddenly 8 sets of green and red eyes peer across the darkness and look at you. And you see these creatures. They look like monkeys, like things that you've seen before, like primates, where they are maybe 1.5 feet tall, thin. They look like large capuchins, almost like 50% larger than they should be. And for a second, you think they're just that, but then you see their skin. You see that their skin is not made of flesh and bone and fur. It's made of vine and rock and dirt. These creatures that look at you. And their eyes, which had been flickering between green and red, just go a burning red. And they're going to make 8 attacks at you.
Oh shit!
Oh,
So let me see here. I'll just take your AC. What's your AC?
Oh
Are you sure
I'll
you
just
want
take
that
it off.
knife? Do you not want to like?
8 attacks.
my! It's 15.
Mm-hmm.
What's your
Okay, so
next
15.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
a 15. I've never played a rogue before, but can I take a... Ooh, that's not a reaction. Never mind.
Okay, so of those, only 3 of the 8 hit.
Oh my god.
I forgot that I pulled. See, all these d20s, I pulled them directly out of my dice jail for this session, and I'm going to keep it like that because I need to be nice to you guys. So you only take 3d4 points of slashing damage. 4,
only.
2, 3. So that's going to go ahead and be 9 points of slashing damage. As
Oh,
your arms, which you'd pulled up, you see their claws come out, and you see little bits of dragon glass, of obsidian, come out of the edges of their fingers and just slash at you. And across your forearms, they just rake these claws. Go ahead and make a strength save to try and stay holding on to the edge.
actually, can I not? Can I grab
You
the
can
dagger?
choose to just, yeah. Go
Yeah, I
ahead
wanna,
and just make a quick
get back
acrobatics
off
check then to
there.
grab the dagger and pop off.
Okay.
I'm still underneath ready, by the way.
Right.
I rolled a nat 19.
Okay.
Plus 5.
So you, as these claws just rake across your arms, you grasp the dagger and just fall back, clutching your hands over the spot where you're holding your pocket watch. And as you fall
Yeah.
back, you land perfectly in the arms of a Goliath who was waiting to catch you, just directly into him.
Thanks,
And
man.
as you are staring up at the edge, none make a move to follow you over the edge. You don't see any eyes peering over the edge. You see no claws. You don't even hear movement up there. But for the rest of you, what you experienced was just the sound of Irzu jump, hop, land, and then it sounded like stone grating on stone. The animals made no noise on their own, and you just see Irzu immediately, and then jump back.
Oh.
So there's like vine monkeys up there.
Monkeys?
No, not good.
What?
Let's not mess with those. And he's like patting the scratches, dabbing blood off his arms.
Yeah, there's
Oh.
just beads of. It's like when a really bad cat comes at your arms. You've just got like these little gouges of like peeled skin and blood that's going places, and it's not life threatening, but God, does it fucking sting?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just can you hold out your arms for me? And I lightly touch both of them, casting Cure Wounds onto your arms that got scratched.
Okay, I believe that's 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. And you're a life cleric, so you also add 1 or this 2 plus the spell's level, so 3 to that.
Wait, hold on. What? Okay, so the base spell was 5 plus 4 because that's my wisdom modifier, so that's 9.
And then you would add 3 more because it's a level 1 life cleric spell.
You got 12.
12
Thank
hit points
you.
back.
That put me back up top. You're the best.
Yeah. So you see Mazlong put his hands on your arms, and while the blood is still there, you see the skin reknit itself back into place and begin to just very clearly grow and age, and it goes into a light scarring and then fades away.
Now,
Thank you.
of course, it seems like they're very territorial, and we're invading their territory. So as long as we leave them be, hopefully they'll leave us be. They didn't follow you down, so hopefully that'll stay that way.
Ears kind of looks up and he's like, bitches. And like
Magnus.
is walking away from the pillar.
Magnus,
That's not
you
very
had pointed
nice.
out the etched eyes to people, correct?
Yeah.
The ones on the weapons? Irzu, the eyes of those creatures are identical to the eyes that were upon the weapons in the etching.
I say that
on that
to the
note,
party.
Yeah, so Irzu mentions that. And Renee had a thing.
Can I, if I look up, can I like see any of them still? Like, up
Just
there?
using your passive, the 17, it doesn't have to do with them stealthing from you. It has to do with the angle at which you're at with the wall. It's almost
Mhm.
impossible to see them just due to their size and where you're looking up at them. They're very, it looks like they're being very specific as to not show themselves.
Okay.
Tabax,
I kind of want to
your-
do something, but you might hate me for it.
Go for it. Bet.
Alright. Renee's gonna, if any of you were looking at Renee, she's gonna cast a quick spell real quick. She's gonna look up towards the direction of these monkey creatures and say, "That wasn't very nice, by the way." The spell she cast was Speak with Animals.
And that lets you speak with beasts, correct?
Yes. You gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration.
Okay, noted. You say that.
Hello,
No response.
monkeys.
You all see as like Renee takes this moment and begins to spin her hands, creating this green glow, and touch her throat and say those words outward, and she just seems very sad, but there is no response from the monkeys.
As she does that, just as a flavor thing, as she's like casting that spell and stuff, you can see that like her mint hair glows a little bit.
Yeah, you see the irises of her eyes and her hair just have this faint green shimmer that appears, very giving off like maybe 2 inches worth of dim light off the top of her head, but it's very faint.
Yeah, so I get completely no response.
No response from the mumps.
Renee pouts.
I had a stroke there saying monkey. I don't know what happened, guys. I'm
The
sorry.
monkeys-
Yeah,
I thought that's what you were calling the creatures. I was like, I've never heard of that
No,
one
it
before.
wasn't.
No. Oh no, these are completely homebrew. You think I use stat blocked creatures in my one shot?
I was like,
Right.
oh, what an interesting name. Oh no, he just had a strong.
Renee's just gonna like pout a little bit and just be kind of sad. We've got no response from these things. They don't seem to want to speak to me. I can't speak with animals, so they should be able to understand me. But they're
It
being
is if
very
they are
rude.
animals.
Didn't turning to Irzu, didn't you say they're like plants?
Yeah, they are vines and rock. And
There's your
their
problem.
eyes look like what they did on the carving over there. I don't think they're actual animals.
From what you're describing, I'd assume something much more similar to a construct, that of a golem, maybe. Without actually seeing it myself.
Well, you could have told me that before I cast my spell.
You hear Dark Palm for a moment just behind you. She's just suddenly behind you. You hear just a small chuckle. You know you did not tell anyone before you cast that spell.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
that's really
right.
annoying.
She looks a little embarrassed and kind of a bit flustered. She's like, oh, I should have said something first. That was my bad.
As you say that, Dark Palm, who's about 8 inches taller than you, kind of rests her furred hand upon your head and kind of like runs some claws through your hair for a second. It is all right, child. Just remember, we are not always aware of what is happening.
I'm not actually a child, you know.
I
might
treat
look
you
like
like
it,
one if you act
but-
like one.
Oh, that was
She
not
says
Laughed a
that.
little bit again.
Totally with a smile, non-maliciously, in the same manner with which Renee speaks to other people.
That's
Renee's
fair.
just gonna be like, okay, just move on.
Tabaxi, is there anything in your culture that would refer to some sort of like farmhand? Any stories that you were told as a child? It seems to be something referring to this figure here.
As you like say that, she kind of turns at you and glares. First of all, do not refer to me by the Valtaikan name for our race. I am a Runa'tak. That is my cultural name. But yes, I do have some knowledge about what may be happening here. From what I understand to what Reyna has said to us, this is a Runa'tak temple from several centuries ago. And I am not familiar. My brother is someone who would know the study of magic more than I. But this may be some amount of our blood summoning magic, where specific creatures were bound to objects, is what it may be referring to.
As such, these specific creatures could be, in fact, bound by the blades.
They could be, though normally, from what I recall, again, I'm rusty on this, but my brother used to describe items being bound with spirits, not creatures, especially not anything made out of vines, you said, Irizu?
Yes.
We like to do things right, the Runa'tak. We like to do things once. Something made of vines would be destroyed far too easily. I would look out for something else.
Right. Well, bite my tongue at that one. Should we move along?
We shall.
Irzu
she's
is
gonna-
going to
No, go for it.
put Irzu's gonna dim the light a little bit more on his dagger again.
Okay.
Ready to move forward.
The dagger kind of dims its light, and it honestly is a little comforting as the light kind of decreases because the tops of the pillars are no longer within your line of sight. And for people, that gives you a little bit of like, maybe you can just ignore the things that you know are there. And you guys continue forward into the maze of pillars, and we're gonna go ahead and take our 15-minute halftime break. That's gonna be where we're taking our break. So everybody, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop off. You can bring us. We'll be back at, we'll say, the 10-minute mark on the next hour. Is where we'll be at. So yeah, join us more for section 2 of part 1 of Runes of the Runa'tak. It's been nice seeing you all. If our stream master can take us out, that'd be awesome.
Let's go!
And now, your regularly scheduled program returns.
That's great.
I
Oh,
love it.
hello, audience.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Oh, did you just know? Okay.
No, we're good.
All right. Sweet. So, oh god, I don't have the stream muted. That was loud as shit in my ears. Yay. All right. So, we're back from our break. Runes of the Runa'tak, getting back to the business that we're doing.
Chocolate orange.
Getting back
Yeah,
to scary
chocolate
vine
orange.
monkeys.
which we found out that 2 of our cast members have never eaten a chocolate orange. That
And
blows
now
my
I will
mind.
never think of them ever again.
Yeah, we
Hex.
are currently, just to catch up anyone who might have joined during the
What
break.
the fuck,
We
Hex?
are Hex. I love you, but please get your bald mug away from the screen, just please. But for anyone who was not here in the first half of the session, this week we are doing the Runes of the Runa'tak 2-shot with a party of new adventurers. And we are coming together to play through this Runa'tak temple that they're exploring under the watchful eye of a Reyna Vakian. Previously, they found their way into this temple, making their way through I gotta say, disguised block of limestone to make their way into this temple, descending into what is being called the Maze of Pillars, where they encountered an inscription of a Runa'tak man, a tabaxi, a feline humanoid, holding 2 separate farming instruments with eyes carved across them. When one of them attempted to ascend atop the pillars that are keeping them in this locked maze, they were attacked. Our Irzu was attacked by several stone and dirt and vine monkeys. It seemed like, with
Oh.
glowing red and green eyes and obsidian fingernails. And we are just now continuing on into the Maze of Pillars. And we're going to get back to it. You all have grabbed your things. You are now aware of the threat around you. And you begin to step forward, and you come to a cross section, a 4-way intersection, coming back the way you came, forward to the left or to the right. Renee and Magnus, you would both properly be able to make out that the way in front of you only goes for about another 30 feet until hitting a solid stone wall.
Not that
Actually,
way.
yeah, that I'm basing that off their perception, but also Irzu would see this because Irzu's superior dark vision.
Not that way.
Those of you who have them, keep your eyes peeled.
Okay.
That was
Renee
not
kind
a
of looks
joke.
around at everyone's like,
You just got a player snort.
Irzu is gonna kind of look for somebody to direct him, and then he is going to actively check for booby traps or anything that might trip up the party. But he's waiting
are
for.
you checking? Okay, so you're waiting for a direction to check first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Left or right?
I do not care very much which direction we go, but we should continue on. Make a decision.
Surely you
who's
care
leading
about
the
going the
charge?
right way.
Whoever needs to lead the charge, just please let us continue.
Right. Well,
Grahil will kind of push to the front and say, "You can tell me which way to go, but it's best that I'm in front."
does it appear to like in terms of like the pillars? Does it appear to were they similar in terms of like with the one that Renee climbed up? They have a top to them essentially.
So yes, all of the pillars continue to, as Irzu climbed up one side, they are all that still 15-foot large walls. And now that you know that there's some amount of sentience in this building, I would say that those of you with a high perception would realize that these pillars were not just coincidentally knocked over. These have been moved to make this pattern. They have been made into these walls. They might not have been knocked down by a sentience, but they have been placed by a sentience. Something, probably these temple guardians you've been seeing, is what moved them into this pattern.
What is the pattern specifically? Are we able to...
At this point, you have not seen enough of this maze to recognize a pattern. Yeah. But currently, since you know that the front is cut off and the back is back out the way you came, you can choose to go to the left or to the right. Yes, Irzu.
Are there any special like markings on the walls or any sort of like hidden things or like languages that would indicate what is in what direction?
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check to see how much you see.
Ooh.
Oh, natural 20.
Natural 20. So what you see is, since you know the way ahead is blocked, you first keep your eyes to the right and then to the left. To the left, on one of the large slabs to the side, you see an inscription, which is a larger Runa'tak, someone who is tall in stature and wide in form, with a golden belt around their waist. And as you actually look at the stone, you see that it's been gold leafed, like the stone itself is gold across their belt. They're standing on top of a massive building, and you recognize the building. It's the building you passed on your way in, that large 120-foot tall structure. And as you look closer, you look at the belt because it catches your eye, this glint, the blue light gleaming off of it. And you see another pair of eyes inscribed on the belt. And because of your nat 20, I'm going to let you actually see the inscriptions on both sides, because as you look at that one, you immediately turn your head and you look to the side, to the right. And to the right, you see a Runa'tak, a Runaten, a member of the Runa'tak. A Runaten with eyes covered in bandages, funnily enough. And they are bleeding from the eyes. And their palms have been cut across the side and are bleeding. And they're being led by the one tip of their finger is touching the tip of a finger of a creature who's walking in front of them, guiding them. A creature of undefined humanoid form who is much, much larger than this tabaxi, with large bat-like wings coming out of the back of this smoky humanoid form, and another pair of eyes, this time deeply inscribed. This time it is meant to be seen that these eyes belong to a creature like that.
Is it just Shu that's seeing them?
So at this point, I would say you've seen the blinded, Magnus. You would have seen the blinded one, and Renee would have seen the large one with the golden belt.
Okay.
And honestly, you two, the Goliath brothers, you two would probably have been drawn to the golden belt because it's got that shininess to it. That like it's. I'm not saying you're stupid so shiny things, but it is eye catching. It is eye catching. It is something that is there.
I'm offended.
Oh, guys, it's
I
shiny.
very quietly whisper to my brother. No, I've seen brother.
Here's
Paper and
Hex.
charcoal in. Just that's it. Just paper and charcoal in.
Okay, so you're making sure to get the actual rubbings that you were sent here for off
just
of these
future
etchings.
reference. Any further markings that we find, I'll just like I'll do that across all of them, so I don't have to.
So
I think we can farm that
as
belt.
Irzu, as you begin to like look at these, you see Magnus kind of like blindly touch the wall of the one of the blinded Runaten and begin to charcoal rub that one, because that's the one that Magnus has seen at this point in time.
I'm gonna remark in my mind to myself the irony there, and then I'm going to say we should probably head this way. That way, according to these markings, might mean death, for lack of better phrasing.
Okay, so you're saying to go to the right, which is the direction with the blinded Runaten?
No, I'm saying go to the left, the direction.
Go to the left with the one with
We
the
will-
belt.
With the belt.
Okay.
Let's go toward the thing that has no eyes and bleeding hands.
Yeah.
All right. That is, since you say that, everyone else had been waiting for a direction. So I'm assuming the party begins to move that way.
Yep.
Correct. Grahil
Okay.
will begin to lead the party in that direction.
Grahil is leading. Okay, cool. Is anything else going on before we move on to the next section?
I actually have a question. How wide are these pathways?
15 feet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
It is
So it's not a
it is
single
not
file thing.
one, yeah.
Okay.
It's 15 feet high and 15 foot wide.
It's just a big old cube.
Yeah. Magnus would like to ask the Tabaxi, the Runa'tak,
Dark palm.
Dark Palm. Any of these scriptures, these carvings, strike anything to you?
I am not a scholar. I am a hunter. This is my brother's territory. And Longshadow is not here, so I cannot ask him.
Should like to meet your brother one day.
He's a bit of a whiner.
Amazing. Ethan?
I'm sure he's lovely.
Yes, well, we disagree on things, but he is my brother at the end of the day.
Siblings
Now-
always do.
I thought this was your area of expertise, Mr. Wizard.
Well, there's always something more to learn from the source. Being part of your culture, I'd expect a little more.
Our culture disappeared with our kingdom when we were annexed. It was Valtaikan scholars who took our knowledge. It is in your great library. You study there.
Well,
Ooh.
I'll be sure to check that out.
Completely oblivious to this tension that's going on between these two. Renee's kind of like walking up kind of next to Magnus and is kind of looking a little perplexed up at, you know where this is going. Looks up a little perplexed at Magnus and just completely missing that probably shouldn't ask this. You say, Magnus, have you always been blind?
No, I have not.
Oh, how long has it been?
Sometime.
How do you see?
I don't, really.
Oh,
Not in
oh.
a traditional sense.
oh,
I have ways to know where I am. And this being one
Renee,
of them.
like, as you're talking, Renee very tentatively puts a hand in front of your face, does this, seeing if you know this.
Oblivious, absolutely oblivious. He's got like white bandages on.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there's kind of like nothing. It's kind of like thick cloth.
Yeah.
But he says, this being one of them, and from like an inside corner pocket, he pulls back his blazer, and nestled into like the front pocket on his shirt is a squirrel, and he pokes his head out.
Oh,
Yeah, you have you are all worried because you have not seen this squirrel the entire multi-day trip here. You had no idea it existed. It has just been in his pocket the whole time.
Renee's just gonna be like,
How is that thing
so
alive? I've not seen you feed it once.
It's just gonna like move close to it and like stroke its little head.
Piper doesn't necessarily eat like normal animals would.
Oh,
What?
would I know what it is? Because I know what it is. Would I be
Roll an
aware of...
Arcana check. It's a relatively high DC because it's not the style of magic you use.
Okay.
Yeah, it's arcane versus natural or divine, which is
Arcana.
Yeah.
Ooh, these dice are hard to see on. That is a a 12.
A 12. No, you are not familiar with this particular brand of magic.
You as you kind of like reach out to touch it though, Piper will kind of like nestle into your palm, and then like upon the warmth, it will jump out of the pocket and then scurry up your arm and then like around your neck. And
It's very cute. Hello.
All I know is this
Hello,
squirrel is
Star.
just Rusty 2.0. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. My familiar's better.
She's certainly friendly.
Oh,
You
she
look after
is
her.
Lovely. Oh, I will. Absolutely. Just continues to like mess with her and play with her and just
Okay.
gives Druid crafts a little bit of grass and just like playing with it, you know, like just messing around with it. Renee's having a great time with the squirrel. She
And as
loves
Renee
animals.
is very obviously happy and you guys begin to move on, I believe Irzu had a question and then we were going to move on to the next section if I remember correctly. You had raised your hand at one point.
Well,
If you don't remember what it is, that's fine. Okay. So you had
Nope.
chosen to move to the left in the direction of the statue with the golden belt, or the inscription with the golden belt. And Grahil was taking the lead. So you begin to move forward. What's your passive investigation? What's your investigation modifier, Irzu? Because you're next to Grahil.
My investigation or my perception?
investigation for this because it's passively you keeping an eye out for certain things.
Sure. So I have a +3 investigation, but I took the feat Dungeon Delver, which means I have advantage on perception and investigation checks made to
Okay.
detect the presence of secret doors
That
or
will
saving
lo-
throws.
That will lower for the way that I'm using passive. That will lower the DC for what you need to see.
Okay.
So as you begin stepping forward, Grahil, as you you very quickly begin to step forward, kind of taking charge because you've just been kind of at the back watching all these people have these philosophical discussions or talk about these religions and cultures. Most of that goes way over your head. But you take a step forward, and as you begin to walk, immediately you see Irzu's arm dart out in front of you. As Irzu, you see that Grahil is maybe 6 inches away from a long, maybe 15-foot long corded piece of vine that is across the floor that is held maybe a half an inch above the floor.
So Irzu's gonna put his hand on your chest, and then he's gonna stick his other arm out, and he's gonna say, "Hold up a minute," and he's gonna point it out to the party. Is there possibly a way for me to try and disarm it?
So first, go ahead and roll me a proper investigation check because it was just your passive to see it. And this is a trap, so go ahead and roll with advantage.
19.
19. So you kind of like follow this braided piece of vine with your eyes, and it goes up the side of the wall of one of pillars, and you kind of like hold your dagger up, and you see that there is a hair trigger of a small stick holding a stone that is holding 2 stones, that's holding 4 stones, that is holding a giant ass piece of pillar that would have crushed anyone who walked under this.
I'm gonna tell everyone to step over it.
Yep.
Okay. So as you guys step over this and begin to move forward, you go another 20 feet and you hit a dead end.
Well, at least we didn't die. We can go the other way.
Does the dead end look like it should continue, or does it just look like it was naturally built to end here?
Roll your choice of a survival, investigation, or perception check.
Can any of us do the same?
I would like to specifically look to see
one
if
other
there's...
person of your choice may, and then Lucas, you were going to do a specific. Yeah, go for it. Renee and Lucas, what is the specific thing you want to look for?
Given that we entered this building through technically a dead end, I'm going to look for basically the same type of smaller stacked stones that were at the entrance of this dungeon.
Roll another investigation check, and I'll remember that you're keeping an eye out for that.
Okay.
Okay, so that is 17 plus 7.
Okay.
Someone here did well, because I did not.
Okay.
I got a 17 plus 0.
Okay. So all of you take a moment and look around and begin to pat the walls, looking around for other entrances. Grahil specifically taking a dagger and sliding it across the stone to see if there's any cracks in it, any breaks. And it's solid stone. This is a proper dead end. There is nothing here.
Okay. All right.
So you can go back the way you came, and then you'll be at the crossroads again, being careful to avoid that trap.
Everybody watch for the tripwire.
Renee's just going to skip over it. Continue back.
If I was
dangerous
more
way to
DM,
cross.
I would have made you roll a check.
Yeah.
No, okay. So her passive movement is to be rather just, light-footed.
Yeah, just
she's being
bouncy.
Careful, but she's bouncy.
Yeah. So
Grahil will very
she's not doing
slowly
a
and
combat
intentionally
roll
step
over it,
over.
Sorry, what was that, Maslong? I didn't hear what you said.
I'm gonna linger behind everyone until after we're all over the tripwire, and then I'm gonna call out. Should I activate it and see if it opens up any secret passageways, or do we just want to keep going?
Irzu is gonna kind of turn and look back over his shoulder, and he's gonna say, "Sure, we can do that. Why don't you hop over on this side first, though, and activate it from a distance?"
Of course.
Stand
back.
Come, brother.
I'm just gonna take one finger and hold it against the ground and just slowly.
If you would rather.
So to point out to everyone here, The way that the trap is made is when you activate it, you are not directly under what is falling. It is meant to deal with the footsteps and the movement of somebody who is walking. So it was calculated like that. So if you are just next to the wire and activate it, it probably won't fall on you.
Before he does it,
Probably.
can I before he does it, can I be like, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just leave it. I mean, if there's any other of those things that Izu ran into before, maybe they might be alerted to the sound or the movement.
Well,
Might be best to just leave
I'm sure
it.
they already know where we are.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're watching us right now. Kind of looks up.
Yeah.
Passive perception 17. As you look up, you see 2 sets of green and red eyes disappear behind the edge of a pillar.
Told you, they're watching.
So if they're already aware of us, I see no harm or foul in doing this.
But it might make them angry.
We already broke.
Might make them angrier.
Maslon takes a moment.
It's very ominous when she says it.
Are we all in agreement to trip it or to just leave it be?
Well, if you do
Just
have your heart
be careful,
set
brother.
on-
Let me not become an only child today.
It is not that hard of a choice. And you see Dark Palm, who's like tapping her foot on the ground, turns, goes, and fires an arrow directly into the tripwire vine.
I wanted to do it. I'm so sad.
That's the DM telling us to get going.
No, that's the fact that she is rash. She rolled an 18, so since she waited, she made sure you weren't directly next to it as you've stepped over it already. The arrow pierces through 2 of the braided pieces and pins it to the ground, and as soon as the movement touched it, you see it pull 1 stick out that pulls off the 2 rocks holding up the 5 rocks, which all pull down, and then just boom, 1 solid thud. That end is now blocked off, but nothing else has appeared.
It didn't like knock into a wall to release it or anything.
No, there's about a 6-inch gap in between on each side. It was almost perfectly calculated to fill the hallway without breaking anything.
Oh, that was very
Something
loud.
That was
very
rather
smart
funny.
designed that.
Well, that settles that. Let's keep going. And I just shot on through.
Yeah.
When
Let's not do that
Irzu,
again.
oh, go ahead, X.
No, it's still.
When Irzu heard Grahil mention not wanting to become an only child today, he puts his hand over the pocket watch and just kind of pushes past everybody. Not really pushing past, but like briskly walks past everybody down the hallway, continuing to walk.
Is it? Wait! Don't go off alone.
Renee will remember this.
Irzu pauses and waits. He doesn't turn around, but he pauses and waits for people to catch up to at least maybe like 10 feet behind him, and then keeps going.
Okay. So Irzu, since you're now seemingly leading the charge,
Sorry.
you walk through the last place to go, the hallway past the blinded Runa'tak, Runaten. And as you walk by, you immediately have to take another right. So you walk to the right, and then you immediately have to take another right. And you see that it continues for about 60 feet before it turns to the left. But Grahil, as you kind of walk up towards Irzu, go ahead and roll me your choice of survival, perception, or investigation.
Those are all the same modifier for me, so perception, I guess.
Okay.
Can you guess what that modifier is?
0?
0?
Not 11.
An 11?
Yeah.
That's all you needed. So, as you are walking by, you suddenly stop because it has been dead air down here since you've gone, and you felt just a breeze go across your cheek for half a second. And you were looking for something very specific earlier that you see now. Before the next left turn, you see that one side of the wall has a block that doesn't quite fit. And you see that same kind of pattern of stacked bricks in one side of the cavern.
Oi, I think I found a secret pathway.
A secret
Brother, should
tunnel?
we?
Oh.
I suppose you could say that.
Renee starts singing Secret Tunnel.
Well,
Um,
let's see if it's open or not.
Two
Amazing.
lovers.
let's do it.
I'm gonna push on the wall and see if it has any give, if it.
What's your strength?
17.
17. You push, and it's just not enough. You are 1 point underneath being able to push out the wall on your own.
Brother.
Renee, help.
Yeah. Everybody step back. Everybody step back. And instead of slashing at it this time, he's gonna put away his sword and just kind of go, take out his shield in front of him and just body slam the wall.
Well, the thing is you all go to do these like complex motions. So like you're still kind of pushing on it, and you call back for your brother. And as you're about to step back, you still have your weight on it. You just see Renee walk over and put one hand and push as well, and you just go tumbling through the wall. Gonna heal your shield. You stop suddenly as like the wall that you were gonna go through disappears.
Wait. Could I say I'm like thrown off my balance because I was expecting resistance in this moment, so I just kind of fall forward?
Yeah, you just kind of continue running and go through.
Just go, whoa, what?
Like a Reinhardt charge.
Yeah, exactly.
So Irzu just turns and looks at Dark Palm and just shakes his head.
It is entertaining at least.
I would like to imagine that you like fell on top of me and I just quickly pushed you off as you went to go fall. You just did a flip.
To save us time, do you think you could send your small squirrel friend down this other hallway to make sure we're not missing anything?
Of course, yeah, can do.
Okay. So Piper, who I think is still on Renee at this point, hops off and goes down the hallway. And are you putting your sight through Piper, or are you just sending them and asking them to tell you what comes back?
I will put my sight through. Yeah.
Okay. So as you put your senses through, it's this odd feeling to suddenly open your eyes and return to having sight. You are in a dark room, and things are black almost as much as they are for you normally. But you can see the glowing of the dagger that Irzu, who you've not actually seen yet physically, you see Irzu with their very pale skin and their light hair, kind of holding a glowing dagger, blue light cascading across their face. You see Renee, the person who you knew their form, you knew their shape, but you didn't know their face. You see a very angular, very cute face with their very light green eyes and light green hair. And you see the two bald Goliath men, both rippling muscles and just slack-jawed faces.
If squirrels could do like do a tut and roll their eyes, that's what the squirrel would do.
You see the squirrel go and then just turn and walk away. And Piper leads down the hallway, and as you go down the hallway, you eventually have to turn.
Just a favor as well.
Yeah.
When I'm in the squirrel, can I be walking on two hind legs?
Yes, the squirrel walks like a human when they're going. They're just waddling shoulders, the tail flapping behind them. Piper walks down the hallway and walks into darkness, and you all lose sight of the squirrel. And very quickly rushes down one hall. You have to turn left one more time, but it's actually another dead end. And as you kind of are walking back, you realize that at one point the stone floor is very, like, the sound of your feet on the floor is different. And you realize with your high intelligence that this spot, if you were any heavier than you are now, you would have fallen through the floor here.
Ooh. Is there any more of those like vinyl any more of those like vinyl like traps as well, or not?
You do not see any vines or anything that has been placed, but as you look along the edges of the hallway, you can see that this is a slab that very specifically has been set over one place on the ground. Something you think created a pitfall trap here.
Yeah, I'll make note of its location, and relay that to the group when necessary.
Yeah, so very easily enough, Piper can come back. It is very good to know that down that way there is just another pit trap and a dead end.
Kind of as soon as I sever that connection for a moment, the squirrel falls back onto its like front legs as well, and then like looks bemused for a while, and then jumps back onto Renee. Isn't it?
So you see Piper just skitter back, walking on the hind legs, and once they're like 15 feet out, move to their front legs and move and crawl up Renee. And then Magnus relays the information of what's down that hallway. Yet another dead end and a trap. So now the only way forward is down this secret tunnel that you found. Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
How wide
And
is it? How wide is it?
Still 15 feet. This looks like it was meant to be an entire other hallway that had been, this entrance was covered. But loosely. Like by design.
Right.
And you turn, and the hallway takes you another 60 feet, and then you turn. It is a U-turn around going to the left. And then you have the option to keep going forward, and you can see down forward it turns to the right, or directly in front of you it turns to the right.
Should we split up or stay together?
I think splitting up would be unwise.
Noah doesn't want to split up, but this is what Maslong would ask.
Yeah, yeah, Magnus very quickly had just mentioned it'd be unwise for you to split up.
But certainly stronger in numbers.
Any
Absolutely.
any similar runes or anything on these paths that might tell us which way to go?
All right, make me an investigation check, you.
Oh, you.
Good thing I keep rolling the same number. What, 11? Again, I don't understand what's happening.
This one's not as easy to see. You don't see anything at this point. However, the three who have been really keeping an eye out for these things, you top three, you three all see another scene. It is a scene of a very dark black, like another type of stone has been cut and placed into this pillar to represent an extreme, like onyx black stone table with a Runaten. This one looks male, probably really tall but very skinny, who's laid across this table, cut in half, and the blood from him is dribbling down the side of the table and onto, he's like up in the top center of it, and the scene changes as the blood dribbles, and it looks like rain onto a field of full crops.
I'm copying everything down.
Yes, you take another charcoal etching of this immediately.
Yeah.
Yes, Irzu, since you know to look for them as well, you all know to look for them, but Irzu really is the one who's been haunted by this because of their attack. There are eyes on this one, but they are not attached to an object. You see them almost overlooking the field and the blood. And this one has an extra set of markings underneath the eyes, like smile lines. Yes, Renee.
As we're kind of looking at this, Renee's going to kind of look at this image before them, and up until this point, she's been very, kind of happy and easygoing and smiley and kind of seeing the positive in everything, and just being very passive to just everything. But as soon as she sees this, her smile fades, and in a voice that almost doesn't seem like her own, she just says, "A sacrifice. I don't like that one. Maybe we should go the other way." Seems a little perturbed by that.
I think a lot of these carvings are following a similar pattern, Renee. It's not uncommon in the culture.
Shivers.
Was this there? We're at another intersection.
So it's not quite an intersection. You are in a hallway that is going straight. You can see the end of the hallway turns to the right, but there's also another turn to the right before the end.
We're in the bottom of a big F.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in the bottom of a big F. That's a good way to put that.
Can we get an F in the chat for blood sacrifices?
Oh, no.
F
Um,
in the
which
chat.
which
We have an F
which
in the chat
entrance,
for my shiny.
Oh, God. Yeah.
which entrance is this depiction at?
It's in front of the one that's closer to you. You've not moved to the end of the hallway yet.
Okay. Urzu would like to go to the end of the hallway and just check and see if there's another one.
Okay, as you walk down to the end of the hallway, it's a similar but not the same scene as the one you just saw. It is a Tabaxi man, a Runaten, who is holding what looks like a spear, but the spear is broken in half. And you see this smoky humanoid form, the one that was guiding the blinded Runaten from 2-3 images ago, is pouring out of the staff, and in his hands are releasing these in the carving. It's like little dots. It almost looks like a dust of some kind, and directly underneath where that dust falls there are withered and broken crops, and you see on the ground skinny, emaciated Runaten.
Nope. Don't like that.
Irzu is going to copy what he saw Magnus doing, and he's going to take a charcoal etching of it, and he's going to walk back to the group, and he's going to say, I think we should follow this path. And he's going to hold up the charcoal drawing of what he saw down the other one.
Okay. And I would mention to you that this the one that the first one you saw of the two with the blood over the fields, that one is on the wall before this one. The one that you just saw is a little bit into the hallway of the second line of the F, so it's a little bit into the path.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Magnus, Darkpalm, do these remind you of any historical events in the Runaten history?
Magnus, make a history check.
Oh shit!
I'll also
Let's
make one
go
first.
at advantage.
Yes, because you studied it. Go for it.
I was just being
Nice.
cheeky. Okay, that's not bad. History I have +7 anyway. 19?
19. Okay. So you see Darkpalm begins to speak for half a second, but then she notices Magnus's mouth open and she clasps her mouth, just still kind of contemplating. But Magnus has not actually seen the second image because it was brought to him on a charcoal rubbing this time.
Right.
So Magnus, for the first image that you've seen,
Fuck.
Uh-oh.
we lost a kind of. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, sorry.
So Magnus, for the first image, you are very aware that it's something that's talked about a lot when it comes to Runa'tak culture, but it's not something that you've gotten a chance to really study because no one has, because it's been lost. That's one of the reasons this expedition has been made in the first place. Is the Runa'tak Empire, Runa'tak Suyu, used to extend a lot farther than it does now because it was a great and terrible empire. They relied on magic that was ritualistic and sacrificial to in some way empower themselves. Again, the histories aren't clear as to what actually happened there, but at some point their civilization collapsed. They lost crops, they underwent famine, they had disease, and it was just an awful time that ended up collapsing the interior of the country and forcing them to retreat back into their original peninsula. And that's how the empire kind of fell and became what is now Runa'tak Suyu, which is just a network of loosely related village with no major kingdom or government.
Civilization. Well, years ago. Kind of their own demise. These ruins, from what I've seen, these carvings appear to be, I can only infer and understand, to be illustrations of this collapse, of this calamity, starting to progress. Through some races, some cultures will attain magic through a variety of backgrounds. Cleric, I'm sure you're familiar. There are sides how magic can be attained. There's rituals, some of those.
Right. I say we go down this hallway, and Irzu's gonna start walking down the hallway.
Is Grahil, Maslong, you guys doing anything? You guys been quiet for a hot second.
If Irzu moves, Grahil will follow. Yeah.
Maslong?
He's just grown quiet while being more perceptive at this point. He's just realizing how much deeper this is getting, so he's just paying more attention.
Okay.
A lot more.
So you guys turn the corner, and actually, Grahil, you will be the one to notice this because I think you're currently the closest with Dark Palm. You've known her maybe 2 weeks now since you encountered each other and realized that you had a very similar outlook on life. And you've never seen her shaken before. This is the closest she's come to that. You see her looking down at her own hands, and it kind of reminds you the first fight that you ever watched her be in, where she leaned forward and ripped out the throat of a Valtaikan soldier. And you see that like kind of conflict happening. But she follows you as you begin to move.
I will kind of say to her, and relatively quietly, I still hear it, but I want it to be quiet enough that it's obvious that even if they do hear it, this is a private thing. And I just kind of say, we will not let history repeat. And continue to advance.
All right. Noted. That's heard. She nods, making sure you know that you've been heard. As you guys continue forward, I believe Irzu said he was taking the lead again. So, Irzu, you begin to move forward, and I'm just continuing to go off your passive here. As you step forward, almost immediately you have to stop yourself again because across the floor of the entrance to this hallway, there is a mesh work system of crossing vines along the floor. And you again take a second, hold up your dagger, and look around, and you see that this is a snare-style trap that has been placed along the ground. One that is pressure sensitive and meant to capture anyone who walks down this hallway.
Can I look up to the ceiling? Does it look like the snare will like yank people up?
Yes. It looks like the ropes will combine to each other and just straight up pull.
Is there a way for me to cut them so that it can't?
Yeah.
Actually,
this trap you could disable. You feel like is in your you feel like it's in your wheelhouse. You could take care of this one.
Okay, then I'm going to try and do that.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. 9?
9. So because you're aware of it, let me roll something. Okay.
Oh no.
Because you're aware of the trap, everyone else you see Irzu suddenly stop, and he leans down and kind of moves his pale hair out of the way, and he takes his glowing dagger and goes to cut along the side of one of the vines. And you've seen him do this at least a couple of times. You know this is one of the reasons why he was even brought on the trip in the first place. But as he takes his dagger, instead of cutting through what he thinks is a trigger vine, he actually misses and hits another vine, tagging the trigger line, and it causes the entire net to... But you will only take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as the rope just slaps across your forearm, but you are not pulled up into the trap, and it is currently
Okay.
hanging suspended above you.
You're gonna hear Urzu cuss. Fuck.
As oh, poor
I look
Sue.
at it. It's nothing.
Oh. Well,
Walk it up, you got it.
completely opposite to that. Renee's gonna like run up next to Iz and kind of lean down next to him, like, "Oh, you okay?" Kind of like looks at your arms. He's just a little bit like rope burn. Be like, "Are you okay? Do you need me to? I can heal this.
I mean, I've had worse.
Your arm. Is it uncomfortable though?
Nah.
Are you sure? Because as long as you're, I can heal at any time. Just ask.
I will make sure to ask you if I am in grave danger.
Okay. Just gets up and just steps back with everyone.
Mazlog throws up his arms at that. He's just like, all right, I'm
Wrong.
doing it. I'll heal myself. It's all right. I don't.
Wait, what? What, were you in pain? What
No,
happened to
just
you?
like because
No.
you're like, I'll heal you whatever you need, and my whole base is.
Yeah,
like,
that'll go to everyone. You're not hurt though.
No, I know.
She offered the same to you.
No, I know. I'm just.
Yes, Magnus.
Blurry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but whipping sound I heard. What was that?
So okay, so Magnus, through your blind sight, what you would have heard from this is the sound of Irzu, because you can specify which of your party members is moving when they're walking. You would have heard Irzu crouch down, a slicing noise, and then whoosh, and motion being pulled upwards, but none of your party members moved, except for Irzu recoiled, and then them just casually discussing Irzu being slightly harmed.
Someone pass me, and I'm gonna put my hands out into the darkness, into the blank airspace.
Mhm.
Someone put into my hand the trigger mechanism for this.
The trigger mechanism.
Yeah.
The vine
Was it
itself?
Okay.
rope or vine?
It was a vine style rope. Actually, Irzu would still technically have it because he's cut off a large portion of it.
Yeah, I'll hand it to you.
So
and then I'm just gonna like start running my hands up and down the rope, feeling the whole length of it.
okay, make me your choice of perception or investigation check.
Well, I was going to ask if I could 2-6.
Okay.
Cast, as I do so. That is it. I just need to make sure this is gonna. Yes. Okay. So as I'm running my hands up and down this rope, kind of in like a methodical pattern, I start muttering some words in Arcanic. I want to cast Comprehend Languages.
That's real
On the rope?
smart. That's real smart. I'm glad you figured it out. So as you take this rope, you feel down it, and the series of knots that go across this rope are in a language that you cast Comprehend Language, and that helps you get the exact literal meaning, but your small study of Kipu already lets you kind of figure out what's going on. You feel this message repeated over and over again across the rope in different sections, as the knots under your fingers are in very specific, intricate designs that say, "Do not go this way, child of the green suns. Danger is ahead."
Oh.
Going to sound pretty peculiar, but this rope is telling me that we're headed in the wrong direction.
You can speak
The
to
rope is
ropes.
telling you.
Now, is that to clarify? Is that for the short part of the F, like the first part of the F, or is that the?
This one was within the short part of the F.
Gotcha.
Wait a second. You've got to be kidding me. May I see that, Magnus?
Of course. And I'm gonna like kind of delicately hand it over.
As Dark Palm looks at it. Fuck. My brother would make fun of me for this. You've heard me say it before. I say it often. My brother
Still doesn't
would
make it any
have
better.
made fun of me for not noticing. This is a kipu. Are all of the ropes kipu?
Who?
It is the. It is the language of the written language of the Runa'tak. I did not realize that they were sending us messages. And there's only one thing that we know that could have written this anywhere in these caverns. And she kind of looks up at the top of the pillars. I think someone is telling us which way to go.
The monkeys?
The monkeys.
Maybe our territorial friends aren't quite so.
Oh, you cut out for the last word, Hex.
I said maybe our territorial friends are quite literally just that.
Irzu looks up a little resentful towards the tops of the pillars and says, okay.
But
hey,
let's fight them anyway, and I'm joking.
Cast fireball at the top of the pillars. Everyone individually roll me just a d20 plus your intelligence.
Uh-oh. That's the best roll I've had.
Nat 20.
Nat 20? That's 2 nat 20s from Kenna tonight. All right.
20.
I know.
Okay, 20. What's up?
Oh, shit.
15.
15. Okay.
Is this a saving throw or just
Intelligence, did you say?
This is
straight
just flat intelligence.
Okay. 17.
Okay. Lucas?
13.
13. All of you now recognize that every dead end has been before it there has been a trap. Every dead end thus far. So the correct path you can assume will not have traps on it.
It's the last one that we're on because the other one had traps too. So the further end of this F so far is
right.
There weren't any other passageways that we missed, right, or that we skipped.
Wow.
Not currently. You have not skipped any passageways. You have discovered what's at the end of every passageway. Also, those of you who rolled higher than a 17, you would notice that the correct path has also had pizza.
No, I said pizza. Do I get?
Oh, beats it. Yeah, you can if you hit roll 17. I thought you said pizza like Little Caesars, and I was like, okay, why are we talking about Little Caesars? But that's fine.
Pizza.
Where is
pizza.
A Little Caesars in
so 17
Europe?
I would also. Yeah.
No idea.
You said above a 17, but I rolled a 17, so that not.
Yeah, you hit 17. You beat it.
Okay.
Okay. You would also recognize the correct path has also had the correct path moving has had an etching on it. And now that you think back to it, all of the etchings that are set into these pillars are very specifically set along the path. As long as you follow the etchings, you think you'll probably be safe. Because remember, this etching that was by this tunnel was not in the tunnel, it was before the tunnel. Whereas the second one is in the tunnel.
Big boy.
Noted.
Very nice.
Let's go.
I just
Our
wanna,
friends are
flex
guiding
one with
us.
My intelligence rolled a 17 plus 5. Yeah.
Nice. 22. You're going full Taylor Swift on this.
I don't know about you.
All right.
Lord.
So
Okay.
you guys then, since I'm assuming you're moving along
Double back, yeah.
double back, go back through the tall part of the F. Then in front of you, you can continue go straight, but you see that it's a dead end before you. There is a path that continues, but it goes to a dead end. Or you can go to the left.
Are there any vines that are leading either way that have maybe a message?
Yes.
Can we read said vines, or whoever can read them?
Well,
That'd be
you
Magnus
see
or
a
Dark Palm.
singular set of vines going across the floor, and you see another wall crush trap. The same as the first you encountered.
Toward the dead end?
Going in the dead end. If you want to try and disable that to read the vines, you may.
Can we look at it and see the knots tied into it, and just like I can sound off the order of the knots to Magnus?
For someone who doesn't read the language, it's so intricate you wouldn't be able to do it, but Dark Palm can attempt to.
Okay.
Because one of the things is the language is extremely intricate. Like counting how wide a vine is matters towards the language.
I see.
Yeah. So and Magnus, unfortunately, you'd have to touch it in order to figure it out. So Dark Palm will go ahead and attempt to decipher it from a distance. Okay. As she looks at it, and you can kind of see her squint her eyes. Irasu, may you please bring your dagger closer?
I do.
Okay, and she looks at it. This is the same message. Is it the same message at every trap? It is. Oh, I should explain.
I think we're...
You said it very literally earlier, Magnus, child of the Green Suns. The word for that is Runa'tak. Runa'tak Suyu is the land of the Green Suns.
I'm gonna make note of that in my book.
Okay. So this is telling a Runa'tak to not go the wrong direction.
Not.
Does Irazu say that?
Yeah.
You get a chuckle out of Dark Palm.
Yeah, no, it's we're making
Magnus
Dark Palm
is just
chuckle.
gonna like rub his brow and just sigh and say, "Child."
As she laughs.
For reference, Magnus is a child, so
Yeah, Magnus is a teenager.
Sorry, what did you say her name was?
Dark Palm?
Dark Palm?
Yeah. As Dark Palm laughs, Renee's also gonna like chuckle a little bit and be like, I don't get it.
It is a knot. That is the language is made of knots. I thought it was very clever. I should Irazu, you remind me of my brother. I should introduce you sometime.
Because the knot.
Some
Because
of
it
you
sounds like that was very clever of you.
I actually, Irazu,
That's very clever
Muslim.
of you.
The two of you remind me of my brother in certain ways. Irazu, a lot of the smart or annoying things, and a lot of Maslong's good-natured annoying things.
Thank you. Just very good.
Business professional.
But we should continue.
Right.
Okay,
I just start going.
Yeah. So you guys take the left because that's the only correct path. And then you come to a T-shaped intersection where you can choose right or left.
A T-junction.
Let's do a little investigator Rudy and see what
any vines.
The vines are saying.
Okay.
Or any runes.
Everyone roll
Do
an
we see any
investigation.
like?
key that we're...
What's that, Magnus?
I got
Magnus?
another 15.
We kind of have like a key of how to go
Yep.
through. So we're
Yeah,
looking for
100%.
specifically the carvings that are
Right.
going to be ours. So just kind of hand along the wall that he's searching for.
And that is a surefire way to get through that without having to do a check. You just had to say it. So,
ladies and
as
gentlemen,
Magnus,
that is a natural 20.
Nice. So you would see this at the same time Magnus gets there. Magnus reaches forward and puts his hand along the wall, and you see his younger hand kind of drag and then stop. And you find another scene.
Ooh.
The rest of you who are doing the check, you now would also see this, regardless of whether or not you passed, because it will be pointed out to you. You see, so that previous scene, you had seen a Runaten holding a broken spear with this creature, this winged, formless creature in the shape of like undefined humanoid form flying out of it. In this one, you see a Runaten holding a scepter. This Runaten, the same one that had been wearing the gold belt Again, you see this gold leaf belt across his waist, and you see he's holding the scepter out like this with the head in one hand, and there are two eyes lightly carved across the scepter, and he's blowing upon the scepter. And that's the first half. That's the top half of the scene. The bottom half is the same scene again, but he's no longer blowing on the scepter, and the eyes are no longer there. And it takes you a second to notice, but you can see where the eyes have moved to. They are underneath the ground upon which he's standing, yet again with the smile lines, and for the first time not drawn dangerously, but content.
Dark Palm, I think you said earlier that your culture had been lost and destroyed. I think these carvings might hold the key to that culture.
I
think we're looking at your history.
It seems someone in the culture may have gotten a bit power hungry and brought a force they did not understand onto your people.
That would make sense. It was
Everything
never
in this
explained
cave we
to
should-
us why our culture fell, other than an unfortunate number of diseases and plagues and famine. But if something caused that because of the magic they were borrowing from, that would make sense.
Cool.
By the way, anything that we find in here could be extremely important in the interest of preservation of history.
Mm-hmm.
We have to record everything.
Okay. I agree. My culture went too long without knowing our own past. Perhaps I'm not going to say it. I was going to say that you Vel'Takans aren't too bad, but you're awful, and I hate you. But you're okay.
That's not very nice.
Well, it's okay.
You see like a content grin as she sees a little bit of fear in your eyes.
It's a fucking child.
Yeah.
Grahil definitely just looks
That
at Magnus
is
and
a
laughs.
lost child.
Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say?
What did
Lucas?
Grahil do?
Oh, Grahil just looks at Magnus and just kind of chuckles.
Well, if this is the correct direction, and it looks like this is after whatever calamity befell my people, we might be nearing the end.
Okay.
Let's
continue.
keep going.
You begin to walk forward. Yeah, what's up, Magnus?
For like image reference for you guys, if anyone's seen Umbrella Academy, kind of like body type and everything, he is 5. He's just fucking older than his head, but
Yeah.
he's like yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're referencing.
Oh, it's very good. Season 2
Alright.
come out today.
I watched
Ooh, I
episode
have to
1 of
binge
it.
that.
I have watched episode 1 of it, and that is it. I have not seen the first season.
Okay.
It's good.
That is
I
a
need to-
conversation
Okay,
we're
moving on.
definitely going to continue after the session. As you guys move forward, you move to yet another T-junction. And this time, you've been keeping your hand on the wall, Magnus, trying to keep an eye out for etchings. But this time, as your hand comes across the wall, as you hit this T-junction, you don't feel the indentation of an etching underneath your hand. You feel almost like a dusty slime texture under your hands in lines across the wall. And you kind of look at it and feel it and smell it, and it smells like mud. And anyone else who's walking up, you see you see Magnus stop on the wall and turn and begin to like smell his hand and look at the wall. And any of you that look at this would see something on the wall, something in a similar style to the etchings done before, but very much not carved. This is a flat piece of wall that has been kind of like grooved out of one of the pillars. And you can see in minute finger writing, tiny finger writing, you see 3 separate scenes. You see an image of the large building from earlier up the road, the 120-foot tall rectangular pyramid, that staggered structure. And it's in all 3 sequences, and it seems to depict it at different times. In the first one, it shows the man with the golden belt, scepter in his hand, standing above it, the eyes still present on both the scepter and the belt, and a happy scene of very crudely drawn Runaten among him. The next scene is the jungle has overtaken the temple, and you see the bones of Runaten across the ground, and a staff planted straight up where the man was in the previous painting. And in the third panel, it is shifted perspective. The temple is present, but it is much higher because it's giving you a perspective of the ground. You see now, away from the temple, the small building that you're in, and what looks like a giant chamber underneath it, where you just see the eyes filling the chamber. Forgotten and alone.
Oh shit.
Magnus can't
Irzu's
see
gonna
it.
look.
Yeah,
Up
Magnus
at the
hasn't seen
top.
anything that's happening.
Irzu's gonna look up at the top of the pillars. Does it look like anything is moving?
Oh no. Uh-oh, it's rolling. Oh god. Scary. Scary.
Scary.
As you look at this painting and you look up, all of you notice this, that along the edges of the walls, you see every 6 inches an innumerable, uncountable amount of red eyes along the edges. And then one of them, directly above the painting, their eyes have gone fully green. And you see it like a wave. All of them turn green. And they look down at you. And for the first time, the rest of you get to see one of these creatures as it leans its body down over the top half of its body over the edge of the wall. This monkey-looking creature with teeth made of jagged obsidian and a stone jaw leading into dirt cheeks and vines coming down his hair. It looks at you and beckons you and takes both its hands and places it directly above the large chamber where large chamber painting where the eyes have been left underground. And it looks directly in your eyes, Irzu.
So its arms are like down.
Down, like gesturing to everything that's below it. It's the motion reminds you of something you've seen every time you've gone to a tavern, where after the end of a performance, the person performing will bow their head and make themselves take in the cheer of the crowd, but this seems much more somber, as in, this is the story we've told, this is who we are.
Irzu is gonna look up and he's just gonna nod and he's gonna say, I see you.
And the eyes
And then he's
flicker
gonna turn
red and
and-
then green.
Oh.
Is it an understanding, not an anger? It is not. It doesn't
Okay.
look like it frustrated them, but that when their eyes flicker, it doesn't necessarily mean they're changing how they feel. It's how they're presenting themselves.
How long has it been since since we were in that first room?
About an hour.
Fuck. I was gonna say it's been less than 10 minutes. Damn it.
No.
So I would not understand what that means.
There's no way we could have done all of that in 10 minutes. Holy crap.
From this
Worth asking.
this construct, not construct, from this a monkey, Magnus would like to approach it slowly with his hand like raised, and he's gonna kind of like try to pet its forehead, not pet it, but just reach out to touch it to see if it
very
will
high
allow
up.
him. He come down because he was on the.
He's like leaning over it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Is that possible? Will he let me? Will he allow me?
So as you kind of like reach your hand up, it recoils.
Yeah.
And like, do you keep your hand up? Because you can sense what's going on with it just because of your blind sense and how adjusted you are, even if you can't physically see it. So are you gonna keep your hand up?
I would like. Yeah, I want to see if it will like trust me.
So as it looks at you, it leans down and takes one of your fingers in both of its hands. And then quick as a snap, it's just going to directly onto the tip of your finger. It's not going to take your whole finger in its mouth. It's going to cut the very edge of your finger with its obsidian teeth and just begin to suck. And you're going to take 1 point of piercing damage as your finger is cut open. And your blood is now running down its mouth as it's drinking.
Not even
Bad.
fuck.
Bad vibe. Bad vibe.
As
Bad
I'm
vibe.
doing this,
Yeah.
from it like in its mouth, at my finger, I would like to cast Encode Thoughts.
Okay, let me look up the spell real quick.
So this is pulling a memory from my own head or an idea as a message to have it as a visual, like a visual thing. It's a cantrip. It's not like thingy. But you're trying to extract a memory, a thought, an idea. Am I able to cast Encode Thoughts on it so I can see its?
Does it specifically say, okay, it's concentrating a spell ability that lets you read the thoughts of others? It transforms the thoughts of others. The casting the spell. Hold on. It doesn't say specifically humanoid, so I guess you could try. So
I would like to attempt to like pull, if at all possible, pull a wisp of thought of memory or idea from this construct and see if I can kind of communicate it like that. See if it has anything that it wants to share with me.
Okay. So, you, as this like transfer of life energy and blood is happening, as you like your blind eyes somehow look up and you can feel the contact you're making as it's staring you in the eye, accepting this blood that it assumed is what you were giving it. You suddenly are shifted. You feel hot, but comfortably so. You look around and you're in a massive, mile-high cavern with blue and red flame in every direction. The air is sulfuric and tasty. You are in the body of this creature, and you look down and your hands are scaled with long claws at the end, and you see a forked tail appear behind it, and then suddenly you feel a pull sensation on your chest, and everything goes dark, and you wake up on a table. In front of you there is a feline humanoid, something you don't recognize, cut in half, blood flowing down, and you look down and you are in the form of this stone creature, something that doesn't match your own. And then you flash for half a second again, and it has been years since you've seen one of these creatures that trapped you in this body. And the first people you've seen in centuries is this group of people with a blue light. And then you're out of its mind.
Oh shit! Love
Irzu
that.
has taken Irzu has taken a defensive stance behind Magnus and is waiting for any sort of distress signal from Magnus to possibly attack or pull away.
So what happens here is from everyone else's perspective, Magnus, you reach up, it bites into your hand, the blood pours for less than a second while you're casting this spell. And for you, all of this happens instantaneously. So you go from holding your finger out to you just feel faint and you start falling backwards. Everyone else sees this. If anyone would like to make an attempt to catch him, you may.
I would.
I feel like I'd. Oh, okay.
Okay, so the two of you together, Mazlong on one side, Renee on the other, both immediately catch Magnus as he kind of stumbles, his finger no longer in the mouth of the creature, who the blood is still kind of dribbling from the tip of his finger, but it's not going to continue for too much longer. And you see the creature just wipe its mouth and then back up to the top of the pillar, still looking at you, but very obviously still very hungry. You also get the feeling, though, they're not planning on attacking, is the first vibe you get. They can and would, but they are not.
Does it seem like they only want blood, or like would they accept other rations?
You have no reason to believe either direction.
Mazlong with that then is just going to take a full days of rations and just lay it out nicely on the floor. Not for them to come get immediately, but just to leave it there if they want to.
Nothing jumps down. Grahil, you had a moment that you wanted to try.
Yes, so he is just watching these animals, and it kind of all clicks. Everything that he's seen, everything that he's been told, and he turns to Dark and goes, "Do you understand what we're in the presence of right now? These are the forces that created the Runa'tak Empire. With these by your side, with these fed, you could reclaim the Runa'tak Empire. You could take back your homeland from those that conquered it. The Runa'tak can rise again with them."
You see this flash of realization and hunger, like this deep, just enveloping want, and then you see her stop. No. If the Runa'tak are going to reach their previous heights, they are not relying on the thing that made us fall in the first place.
Grahil will kind of, I think kind of while he was doing this, he was maybe like a little in her face, and he and kind of had this dark expression, and he kind of backs off and he goes, "That is disappointing to hear."
If you think I will not do everything necessary to get back my homeland, then you are wrong. But if we are doing this, we are doing it through power of our own and not relying on some eldritch force. Leave that to the dead blood sorcerers. They died for a reason. The only foe I care about defeating is the Valtaikans and anyone else who tries to stop me in the present day.
They died because they abandoned this force.
They died because they tried to control something they did not understand. And I do not understand these creatures.
Okay. I think at that point Grahil will kind of back off, and maybe that will change with time.
I grab very firmly onto your shoulder, Grahil. Try not to meddle in things that aren't your own. This is not our own battle to fight. Do you understand?
Every battle of oppression is ours to fight.
And who would expect nobility to understand the toils of mortal men?
Oh,
and she's just going to turn and walk down the hallway.
Oh, shit.
She's just going to keep going forward. The rest of you can do with that information what you will.
Oh.
Mind blown.
I'm
Yeah, a
now
little bit.
very like quietly scolding towards Grahil.
Yeah.
Doing speaking so
He-
loud about these things.
They deserve to know. They deserve to know what's on their side.
Blood magic is bad.
Black
I've
magic
heard
is
it as
power
well.
and should not be shunned.
It's, it's unnatural. And
Power
Renee,
is
once
power.
again, for the second time now, specifically at this, you're noticing a trend here. Specifically, is made very uncomfortable by this idea, and the smile is gone, and she looks very disturbed by this. She is not a fan of the monkeys anymore. Friendship ended with monkeys.
I once more leaned down. Now, how would our family look at that? How would our God look at you supporting such a vile idea?
If we
Let things
used
happen
them,
natural. Sorry, go ahead.
if we used them, if we seized the power that is at our fingertips right now, the world could see the way we do.
There
Not
are
all
better
power
ways
is meant to be
across
used.
this.
Do you think
You
that
don't need to take it
you're
at
worthy to
force.
wield such power?
Grahil will kind of listen. We don't understand them. Let's try to. And he's going to use Divine Sense to try to see if these are fiends, celestials, or undead.
So you activate your divine sensibility. If I remember correctly, that says any one of those three within 60 feet, not behind full cover, you know their exact location and number, correct?
Correct.
Well,
And so he's
scary
going to
number.
kind of the flavor text of this is he kind of like hand out and covers. He's got a signet ring on his finger, and he covers it with his hand as this kind of light glows, and closes his eyes for a moment, and then when he reopens them, they're like white, like there is
So-
a light shining from them.
So as this white light appears coming out of your eyes, these flashlight beams of energy appear and spread out in front of you. Within 60 feet of you, behind not total cover, are 726 fiendish properties.
Oh my
Damn.
god.
These
I
are
have-
some layer of demon or devil.
Oh shit.
Did Lucas freeze for this, or is he just still there?
He's
Lucas
either
is
very
frozen.
still in thought, or he is frozen.
Lucas is very frozen.
Time for him to
Shat
freeze.
himself.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wait, guys, assume the position. Wait.
Oh yeah, I gotta switch it here.
Come back, come back.
Just a very quick
Oh,
reaction.
Okay,
He's still
Flash.
gone.
Oh.
His Discord froze.
Reaction was very fast.
Please come back.
There he is. Oh, he's
reaction-
seeing your waves.
That
Oh,
reaction was amazing. Did you guys see his very quick reaction?
yeah.
We believe in
That
you.
was top tier.
Each dealing 1d4 points of slashing damage around.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no way we can fight these things. There's no reason to fight these things.
I'm
That's
so
not.
sad he's frozen. If he needs
No.
to leave the call. Oh.
Oh man. That's
Oh
rough,
my
buddy.
god.
Yep,
Okay,
there
guys.
goes our formatting. Very sad. He'll be back in a second.
Damn. That is something.
Okay. I just got a text from him. Where is it?
Oh, shit.
My internet died.
Oh, shit.
Move
No.
to your phone.
Well, to be perfectly honest, considering the time, that seems
No,
like a
I
great
have
place
another
to-
15 minutes I want to move us to. Okay.
Okay.
He's coming back.
okay.
He's coming back.
Yay.
It is
Okay.
off then.
Okay.
Where's the camera? We need a camera. We need your face.
Okay, I heard there are set. I didn't hear anything after
To the
that.
scene. Flashlight eyes. Look out.
Yes.
Within 60 feet of you, there are 756 fiendish creatures within 60 feet of you.
Yeah, that was us too.
They are
Yeah.
some layer of demon or devil. You are not sure of what kind, but these are
He's done.
There's a freaking army of demon monkeys.
Dude, whoever controls these is the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, yeah. This is. Oh, okay. All right. So as the divine sense fades, okay. As the divine sense fades, Grahil, you see like the light fade from his eyes as they slowly turn back to normal, and then he turns and he goes, "This is an army. With these creatures, anyone could be in control." I mean, the intense rise and fall of the Runa'tak makes so much sense now. They had beings beyond this world's comprehension behind them.
I might interject. The rise and falls of civilizations are beyond our control.
Correct.
What
But they don't have to be.
For every
Can I
action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. It's a law of equivalent exchange. It cannot be changed. For one power, there will be an equal to it. The fall of the Runa'tak, for all we know, could be the cause as much as it is the rise.
Yeah, and with that statement, Irzu wanted to make an insight check, and then we'll figure out our next part of the conversation. What's the insight check you wanted to make, Irzu?
I just want to see. I would just like to insight Grahil and just make sure that he just seems very agitated and like ready to go with this, and it just seems real weird to me that he's
Trying to check that alignment.
Yeah.
So you have. So you first tell me your number. What'd you roll?
15.
15. So you've known Grahil only about as long as this expedition's been going. You met up right before you were hired.
Right.
Dark Palm has been very vocal about her belief that the Runa'tak should rise again, and all Vel'Tykans are scum. She's been very clear about this.
Vel'Tykan as in the race?
As in the countrymen.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm Vel'Dikin, I think I'm thinking.
Vel'Tykan, not Vel'Dikin, but yeah.
Vel'Dikin.
Vel'Dikin. It's when you take Velveeta cheese, and never mind.
Oh no! Oh no!
But she's been very clear about this, and something you remember across those conversations, and it's really echoing in your head now, is that in all of those conversations, every single one of them, Grahil advocated on the side of revolutionary take back your country, especially those that are ruled by the awful large humanity countries, all the countries that are ruled by humans. He's been very outspoken against this. And something that's kind of popping in your mind now is he looks power hungry, not desperate, but as if there's an answer to all of his problems sitting in front of him.
And confused why the others around him aren't embracing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Calm Emotions on the group.
All right. Is there a save for that?
Just a moment. There is.
There's a save.
Yeah.
Just to lower the tension for a moment, just for a minute. I need to like.
So you actually so it's each creature centered. So you can choose to fail if they want, but if the creature fails saving throws, choose one effect. Okay. So you can do that.
As much as I would like to choose to fail, I don't think Grahil would choose to fail. So
go ahead and everyone within 20 feet of Grahil make a charisma saving throw.
Oh shit.
What is the charisma? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's my strongest stat. Well, other than strength. Other than
Yeah.
strength. Strength is my
Oh
strength
my
stat. Charisma is my
God,
second
I
I
highest.
really hope we
Um,
don't
be
fail
high,
this
damn it.
because Renee is
What's
not
the
good
DC?
now.
What's the DC?
14.
I save.
Oh, that's
I
wait,
rolled
what
a
was
I
the-
don't.
I rolled a
that's
12 plus
fair. That's
6, 18.
16 plus
I
2
don't.
for me, so 18.
18. What did you roll,
Mhm.
Magnus? Magnus.
9.
So Magnus and
9.
Irzu, you
Well, wait,
two.
what about Dark Palm?
Dark Palm's not there. Dark
They
Palm went
walk
ahead.
away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Dark Palm went ahead without the rest of you because you pissed her off. And she's
Fair.
rash and moved off on her own.
Fair.
Irzu and Magnus, you two immediately feel this feeling of you were worried about what was happening, scared as to the creatures. You just feel this indifference just suddenly press upon your heart of like, oh, everything's fine. We don't need to worry about any of this. It's just calm. Renee and it actually does not say. It does not say that you know that anything happened, so you two just continue with your current emotions.
Surely, if we save against the spell, we would know.
There are specific
Really?
spells in the enchantment school that call that out.
Yeah.
Calm emotions is not one of those.
Mm.
So you are not actually aware that a spell has been cast at this exact moment.
With a passive perception of 17, would I notice the other two unnaturally go calm?
Maybe. Let's just let me roll something for that. Let me tell you whether or not you can. Let me see.
I would say in terms of that, Magnus would be feeling emotional.
No, you would
wouldn't
not,
outwardly
because I'm
display
not using your
anybody, so-
perception. I'm using your passive insight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because insight is more seeing how people feel.
Yeah.
Magnus, what's up?
Passive insight? Passive insight? What's the DC for the insight?
What was that? Well, what's your insight?
17.
Yeah, no, you still
Also-
wouldn't. I rolled really high.
What? I'm
yeah.
dead.
So as I cast the spell upon everyone, I will make it be known.
Okay.
What?
I've tried calming all of you. Just listen for one moment, all of you, and I look right at Grahil.
Who's very obviously not calm.
He's actually pissed now because you just tried to use magic on him, but continue.
Shit. Shit, my camera's out of focus. This is not the time or place to start fighting. There are a lot of creatures that can turn on us at any moment for pissing them off in the slightest bit. We also have Dark Palm going off ahead of us. We need to stay as a group. We need to get through this and get out first before anything else happens. Is that understood?
You see Grahil's face kind of harden as and he just looks at you. You see his anger kind of fade away a little bit and turn to disappointment as he looks at you, and he goes, "You would use your magics on me, brother. I understand where the party lies." And then he will turn and advance toward and try to catch up with Dark Palm.
I drop the concentration on the spell, allowing both Magnus and Izu to immediately come back out of it.
Magnus and Irzu, you had this unnatural, like, it almost feels like when you take like an anxiety medication or something that like really suppresses your emotions, and then suddenly all of the emotions you felt before the spell rush back in a couple of seconds. Something akin to a panic attack.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
You just see Irzu start to walk in the direction of wherever Dark Palm was, and both of his hands are over his vest, and he's clutching them, and there's no sound coming out of him, but it's just tears.
I feel really bad now. I was just trying to help things and it made everything worse. That's not what I wanted.
You do hear him he says something very quietly. You might hear it, I don't know, but he just keeps saying Irid, 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 Irid over and over and over again.
With a passive of 17.
Yes, you would hear that.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh every time you say passive of 17 because I'm like, yeah, passive of 20. I'll pick up on it.
Yeah, I just assume that
I wanna
Magnus hears
pick up
everything.
on these things.
Okay, so it seems like most of you have decided to move on, and what's up, Magnus?
Just a slight thing as we were all progressing. I'm gonna cast message to what's the
Reyna.
sorry,
Darkborn?
Nova. What's your character's name, man? I'm bad with names.
Maslong.
Maslong. I couldn't remember
Maslong.
neither for some reason.
I blanked. I've been staring at the name literally all session.
I'm gonna cast message. Is he going to be okay?
I would say it in my voice, but it's straining on my throat. So, in Maslong's voice, I'm not sure, but I hope so. I will talk to him after all of this.
And just kind of like as like a 5 foot like who tiny like male, he's just gonna like walk past your gaping figure. Just like kind of like a nod older than his years.
I nod. I don't know if I'd nod back since you can't see, but I nod back anyway. like naturally, as that's like what I would do. Just yes. Oh wait.
All right. As you all progress into the yes, Renee.
I was just gonna do a I was just gonna ask do something, but if you want to move on, I can just leave it.
Oh no, yeah, do that real quick.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get up on wrapping up the episode, so go
Okay.
ahead and do your thing real quick.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm blurry for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's just camera focus. We'll just pretend like we can see you. Let's go.
Just focus.
I'm blind.
Come back to me. So as everyone starts walking, first of all, as Renee starts walking, she kind of dispels the ice that was starting to form on her hand, and kind of walks up next to Izu and kind of hears him like repeating this name. What was the name again?
Irid.
Irid. And whilst these kind of complex emotions of somewhat anger that she doesn't feel that often, and kind of anger and worry, her ears kind of prick up as she hears you like repeating the name, and kind of asks like, "Who's that?"
Irzu relaxes his hands. And he puts him down at his side and he says, Irid is my brother. And I lost him.
Is he connected to that watch you're protecting in some way?
Irzu like really snaps in and focuses on you and he goes, what do you think you know about that?
Oh, nothing. I noticed, well, I mean, you've been looking at it this whole way here, and then you put it in your pocket, and I put two and two together, and you've been doing this. It kind of does like the arm crossing thing that you've been doing. It's like, I feel like you've been trying to, I don't know, maybe ward something off, or possibly physically protect the watch itself. I'm sorry, I shouldn't pry. He kind of looks away.
Irzu, God, fuck. He like, his face softens and I'm sorry, I didn't mean, he says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to seem angry. I just if you did know anything, I desperately would like to know. He pulls out the watch and he opens it. He doesn't hand it to you, but he just shows you. And he says, "Have you ever seen anything like this before?" And it's a bunch of gears, and it's a regular watch, except within the face of the watch, it looks like it just goes impossibly further down infinitely. Like you can't see a back of the watch.
Whoa.
Would
And
I have seen this before?
It's running
No.
backwards.
You would have seen like the faint like edging of metal, but Irzu keeps it too close to himself to have ever had any time to look at this properly.
Well, I'm looking at it now. Would I have seen something similar before is what I'm asking? Like, would I have ever seen anything similar to this?
I'm not going to have you roll, no. No, you would not.
No. Okay. Can I... There's a couple of things I want to do. Can I, with kind of a gesture to Irzu, can I cast Detect Magic on it?
Sure.
I will ask Irzu first. And like, I'll kind of like start as if I'm about to do it and be like, may I?
Irzu's going to look at you and he's going to say, you may try. It has been tried before.
Gonna try and cast Detect Magic on it.
Okay. Yeah. You cast Detect Magic, and a couple of things happen when you do that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
One, you immediately see auras of so much conjuration magic all over the place in all of the giant and all of the monkeys. They just
Everything
glow.
is magic.
They just glow so much. Just
Conjuration.
boom. So much conjuration magic. Like an ungodly amount of conjuration magic. Literally, because they're demons.
Ungodly.
But yes, the pocket watch glows so brightly with abjuration magic. So brightly.
I repeat that back to Izzy then, like, abjuration magic. Interesting.
It's not a style of magic that you particularly have much experience with, just with the spell list of your class.
I just know that it is. That's kind of why I'm repeating it back, because I don't really know anything about abjuration magic, but I'm like, yeah, I can tell it's abjuration, but not much further. Abjuration's not really my thing. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I knew as much anyway. Anyway, and he puts it away, seems a little flustered, tucks it back in his pocket, and he looks around and he says, now is not the time. I got overwhelmed for a moment.
That's okay. I understand. I can be a little too pushy sometimes. I ask the wrong questions at the wrong time.
Irzu looks at you and he says, it's not you. You're great.
Oh, thank you. He just goes flustered, a little bit flustered.
And he kind of takes your hand and he squeezes it for a moment. And then he says, if you'll excuse me. And he just walks ahead because he's just
Damn it, she was gonna ask something else, but that's fine.
So as that scene finishes and the last pair of you begin to walk into this room, everyone who's walked in is still standing at the entrance, because as you reach the end of this labyrinth of pillars, you come down another set of staircase, 15 feet across, about 20 feet deep, and you see another massive room, but this time it is open. You can see the whole room, as there is one wall has collapsed in, and pouring out of that wall is a massive 40-foot wide underground river that is flowing across the room.
Ooh.
A singular boat sitting moored at the edge of the river, about the size of one person, and that's where we'll end the session for today.
Darn
Oh,
you,
no,
you
we're
motherfucker!
Shit, man.
Oh my god!
Fucking shit,
Oh
man.
my god!
I got super
I love
tingly
this.
there during like
This
that
is
last.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
my heart
Yeah.
hurts.
That is our first half of the Runes of the Runa'tak 2-shot. What's up, everybody? You
Ooh,
came through with no
shit.
one dying.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Almost
Yes.
had an inter-party
Yes.
fight.
Yes.
Let's
Did
go.
you think we are gonna get through the maze?
Oh yeah, I planned on going as long as it needed to get through the maze. The maze was my goal for the day. I got
Mate,
worried
that
that
was
you would
fucking
like
smashing,
destroy the
man. Well
maze.
done.
Well, we're getting into post-session discussion. We can talk about that after the session. For now, we just want to talk to all of our lovely audience, everybody who's still here, who's made it through this two-shot, and just say that we
so
love
many people
you.
stuck around.
Yeah, we love you guys. We're excited to see you again next week. We'll be returning
Yes.
Friday with our BioShock campaign, of which myself, Ben, and Lucas are all a part of. Really excited to see that back up and running. But until then, we love you all. Our guests will be returning next week. I think we just need to shout out this week. All we're giving shout outs to is the Nat 20 show playing tomorrow at 5 o'clock EST, which Hex runs, and the
Yep.
Welcome In, specifically the campaign Noah takes part in, which is 7 p.m. EST Fridays.
Yes, 7 p.m.
7
EST
p.m.
Fridays.
Hey.
It's the Rolling Tides campaign. Very fun.
Mhm.
Next Friday will be our 15th session, so it's very exciting.
Yeah. And then didn't you have? You didn't want to announce something, but didn't you want to say that there was something coming on a particular date?
Yes. Okay. If you guys are interested, please go check out the Welcome In's live stream on the 16th. I'm not quite sure the time yet, but more news will come of that. Hopefully by the next time I play, I'll have all the information. But there's a big thing happening during that live stream. We're trying to get a bunch of people to watch it. It's going to be very exciting, very fun, very big.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough how much you should go watch this. I know what's happening.
absolutely.
It's crazy.
I know what's happening as well, and I'm super.
It's insane.
Very cool. So,
But other than that, I don't think we have any other announcements.
I've got a
So,
little one.
what's your announcement, Hex?
I've got an announcement for tomorrow's session for the Nat 20 show. If you want to come watch us, we have a special guest. Fucking I've got to stop swearing. I apologize. I'm English. It happens. But yeah, we are we're very, very privileged to be put in a position. We are playing with your narrator tomorrow, who is on YouTube. He plays with I don't know if you guys have seen any of Swagger Souls or Josh Dubb's stuff or Rekid. He's one of them.
Nice. That's so
That's
cool.
awesome. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, so he's joining us tomorrow for like a few sessions. We're gonna see how it goes because he's getting back into D&D.
That's
so
awesome.
All right.
fucking big shit, man. Big shit.
It's gonna be real cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's it. So, Stream Master, if you'll take us out, we're gonna be ending tonight's stream. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining us for Runes of Runa'tak. Have a good day.